The day I reunited with my CEO ex-girlfriend, I had become the most despicable male host in her VIP room. She threw a stack of cash at my face, forcing me to dance. Dance until she was finally satisfied. After she had her fun and grew bored, she handed me over to 5 wealthy women with twisted fetishes. I was tortured until I was on the verge of death, my strength depleted. Everyone laughed and mocked me for risking my life just for money. But not a single soul knew that 5 years ago, I accepted the 15 billion breakup fee from her family because both my mother and I were battling cancer. I fought desperately to survive and return, not to be humiliated by her, but to die in her arms. Le Nyun Bar. I carried the wine into a private room. Reaching the door, I could already hear the laughter echoing from inside. The quality of the male host here is quite mediocre, isn't it? Boss, look, this one's face is okay, but his build is average. That one over there has a great body, but his face is a bit too ordinary to play with. Isn't there anyone who's top tier in both looks and physique? The boss stood nearby, bowing obsequiously, clearly fawning over the women sitting on the sofa. Please rest assured, ladies, we just got someone new, whose looks and physique are both top tier. I'm not sure if he'll catch your refined eyes. Having said that, the boss shoved me forward, then leaned into my ear, whispering a warning. These are all high-profile figures. You'd better serve them well. If you happen to upset them, I'll show you what's what. I was pushed out, in front of everyone, allowing their eyes to sweep over me as if they were appraising a piece of merchandise. Why does this guy look so familiar? Not just her, but I also found the girl in front of me very familiar. She looked exactly like Ye Anyi, the best friend of Xia Jiking. The girl in the red miniskirt stood up, carefully observing my face. Jiking looked at this male host. Doesn't he look exactly like that bastard Lin Jingwen? Jiking, I suddenly looked up at the girl who had been sitting alone, drinking in the corner since I entered. She hadn't said a single word, just silently drinking. It was her, the person who throughout 5 years in a foreign land I had missed incessantly. Ya Jiking finally looked up, her cold gaze sweeping over me. She let out a sneer. Boss, your taste is getting worse by the day. You dare bring just any kind of trash in front of me? Trash. She actually used that word to describe me. Does she hate me that much? The boss froze for a moment, seeming to doubt his own judgment. But he quickly reacted. Perhaps this newbie had offended these young misses in the past, which is why they were humiliating him. The boss was internally fuming. Why did I even recruit this kind of jinx? I'll kick him out. Right now. Just as the boss was about to act, Xia Jiking suddenly spoke up to stop him. Wait, when did I say I wanted to kick him out? I haven't had enough fun yet. Yanyi, standing nearby, finally realized and recognized that I was the scumbag who dumped her best friend back then. Yanyi immediately smashed her wine glass on the floor. Laughing maliciously, she said to me, "Lick it clean." I instinctively looked at Xia Jiqing secretly, hoping she would say a word for me, hoping she wouldn't just stand by and let others humiliate me like this, hoping she still cared about me. But she didn't say a word. She let her friend humiliate me in the cruelest way. Xia Jiqing just sat there, looking down on me as I struggled in helplessness. Anyi called someone to pin me to the floor. Several burly bodyguards pressed my face into that puddle of wine. I struggled desperately, but it only made me look more pathetic. Wine and blood mixed together, making my whole face look like a demon's. Let me go, seeing me struggle. The bodyguards pressed it down even harder. My head was slammed hard against the floor. Dragged back and forth before long, my face was covered in blood, looking absolutely terrifying. Even the boss, who had seen it all, felt a bit reluctant to watch. But he didn't dare open his mouth to stop it. He obviously wouldn't offend these young ladies, just for the sake of one employee. Gradually, I no longer had the strength to struggle. Like a pile of mangled meat, I lay motionless on the floor. A flicker of pity flashed in Xia Jiqing's eyes, but it was quickly replaced by overflowing resentment. She hated me to the bone, hated me for abandoning her to go abroad while she was sick. From the moment she was abandoned, Xia Jiqing lived for the thought of getting revenge on me, making sure I never lived in peace. That was the only thing keeping her from breaking down. My consciousness began to fade. In my delirium, I saw Xia Jiqing sitting high and mighty on the sofa, looking down and enjoying my misery. I can't die. I still have my mother being treated in the nursing home. I can't leave her alone. Help me. My voice was very low, but I knew Xia Jiqing heard it. Sure enough, the next second she suddenly stood up, using the tip of her shoe to lift my chin. Want me to help you? Are you even worthy? I couldn't see her eyes clearly, but I could feel her cold gaze, gliding over every inch of my skin. Xia Jiqing was like a demon from hell. It seemed as if unless she skinned me and crushed my bones, she wouldn't be satisfied. Wake up and shut your mouth. You have no right to say my name. Speak. Xia Jiqing stepped hard on my hand, grinding it down with all her might. In that moment, I couldn't distinguish if the bone-deep pain of my hand nearly shattering was more intense or the feeling of suffocation, as my heart was willfully trampled by the one I loved. When I woke up in the hospital, it was already noon. Waves of pain began to surge through my entire body. Looking at my right hand, wrapped in white bandages like a cylinder of sticky rice. I stared blankly at the ceiling. Only a sense of desolation remained in my heart. Before returning home, I had imagined the reunion with Xia Jiqing many times. I knew an arrogant person like her, with a personality that never accepts betrayal, would surely hate the one who abandoned her. I knew she would hate me, but I never expected it to be to this extent. It was as if there truly existed between us, a blood feud that couldn't be settled under the same sky. Right then, my phone rang. It was the nursing home calling. Mr. Lin, the 1.7 billion fee each for your mother this term hasn't been paid yet. Please check. 1.7 billion. Over 1,700,000,000 Vietnamese dong. To those born at the top of society, that is merely the price of a formal down a dinner or a casual tip. But for me, this amount was nearly crushing the breath out of me. Over the years, my mother's health was never good. She had to take medicine year-round. The medication alone had nearly wiped out all my assets, not to mention the treatment costs, which flowed like water. I had even sold my house. I was working 3 jobs a day, but it still wasn't enough to pay for my mother's hospital bills. Misfortunes never come singly. Bad luck keeps clinging to the impoverished. I couldn't even keep those 3 jobs. For some reason, I was suddenly fired from all of them at once, driven into a corner. I had to go work at the bar. I had truly fallen so low that I had to use my looks to earn a living. I'll transfer the money soon. All right, Mr. Lin. The hospital can give you a 1-week extension. Thank you. I understand. As soon as I hung up, the ward door was pushed open. Xia Jiqing walked in. She scanned me from head to toe, her disdainful gaze lingering on my bruised and battered face. You've got a tough life waking up so fast. Her voice was filled with the irrepressible resentment and bitterness. 2 people who once loved deeply and made eternal vows, only to end up like this. Closing my eyes, I can still see the girl with the sweet smile in my memories. But when I opened them, I met with the arrogant and disdainful face of Xia Jiqing. It felt like a sharp sword pierced my chest in an instant. I felt a pain so intense it was like dying and coming back. What's with that look? What are you still expecting me to apologize to you? Xia Jiqing stepped toward the hospital bed, roughly squeezing my injured hand. Fresh blood immediately soaked through the bandages. I didn't struggle at all. I just let her hurt me however she wanted. My heart was full of shame and guilt toward her. If doing this could make her feel even a little better, than let her vent her anger. If doing this can make you happy, shut up. Xia Jiqing's grip tightened even more, but her eyes gradually filled with tears. She didn't understand. Clearly, she was the one hurting me. So why didn't she feel any pleasure from revenge? She didn't understand why it was like this, only able to silently tell herself, this man before you once broke his promise and dumped you. He's a greedy, fake, and despicable man. Not until the bandages were soaked in blood did she let go, looking down at me sitting on the hospital bed with a pale face. From beginning to end, I gritted my teeth and endured the bone-deep pain, not struggling even once. I was atoning for the mistakes I made in the past. I'm sorry, Xing. It's too late, Lin Jingwen. Do you think? Your apology still matters now. I hate you. I wish I could trample you into the mucks, making you suffer so much that death seems better than life. Right, such a proud little princess. How could she ever accept being abandoned by me? I just looked up at her. This is the girl I've loved for all these years. There was a time when every time she looked at me, her eyes were filled with tenderness and longing. Now only ultimate disgust remains. Lin Jingwen, didn't you used to say that even the poor have self-respect? Didn't you say being poor doesn't mean having a small mind? Why now for the sake of money? Are you willing to even sell your own body? Even your body is ready to be sold now. Where is the self-respect and integrity of the Lin Jingwen I knew? Each question made my face turn a shade paler. My body swayed as if I were about to collapse, clearly having reached the final limit of endurance. That's right, the old me once cherished beautiful dreams. Even in poverty, I never lost heart. I studied hard, strove desperately, firmly believing that education could change fate. I once held Xia Jiqing's hand and swore that I would definitely work hard to keep up with her footsteps so I wouldn't make her lose face. But now I've reached a dead end, driven to the point of selling myself for survival. I let out a bitter laugh but pretended not to care at all. I shrugged. For money, there's nothing shameful about that. Those words from my youth were just garbage. Besides, I've always really loved money, and that has never changed. I'm just a shallow, worldly man. Like that? I used the most humiliating and self-deprecating words, wishing I could personally trample myself into the mud. As soon as I finished speaking, a stinging slap sent my head spinning to the side. You're truly pathetic, Lin Jingwen. Xia Jiqing glared at me with pure fury. In the past, I must have been blind to someone like you. You're truly an embarrassment to me. After saying that, Xia Jiqing turned and left. The ward door slammed shut with a thunderous bang. As for me, I remained in that same tilted position, feeling the burning sting clearly on my face, feeling the suffocation and helplessness in my heart. The next day, I returned to Lenan bar to work. The boss originally didn't want to take me back because he thought it was too much trouble. But seeing my body covered in injuries, With bruises crisscrossing my face, he truly felt a bit of pity, so he agreed to let me return to work. But my current appearance was truly unsightly. To maintain the aesthetic, I could only wear a mask on stage and dance in the center position. I have to admit that wearing a mask while performing hot dances actually produced even better results. My physique is decent with clear muscle definition. The type who looks lean in clothes but ripped when stripping. Combined with the dim lights of the bar, I looked like a demon emerging from hell, firmly capturing everyone's gaze. The boss nodded in satisfaction, but accidentally met a cold pair of eyes. It was Jia Jiking and Ye Anyi. Jia Jiking's entire body radiated a chilling aura. No one dared to approach to the point that the person next to her, Ye Anyi, also felt uncomfortable. King, are you in a bad mood today? Jia Jiking said nothing, just silently drank. Ye Anyi didn't recognize that the person dancing on stage was me. She was still excitedly enjoying the show, secretly plotting with great satisfaction. Maybe I should offer this handsome guy to Madame Xiang tonight? Madame Xiang is a notoriously lustful figure among the socialites, swinging both ways, without being picky at all. Her greatest hobby is collecting all sorts of handsome men. Moreover, she has a twisted fetish for bondage games, especially enjoying the sight of someone gasping for breath, half dead on the bed. That's what gets her excited. Madame Xiang once played with someone until they died, but she is extremely powerful. She uses money to bribe judges, while both threatening and bribing the victim's family. In the end, that matter went nowhere. What do you think of that handsome guy dancing over there? Should I offer him to Madame Xiang? Xia? Jiking stiffened for a moment, then quickly pursed her lips and spoke indifferently. Whatever. I'm just afraid he won't be willing. In her heart, Xia Jiking still didn't want to believe that I would truly fall that low. She faintly felt that perhaps that day at the hospital, I only said those things to force her to leave. Maybe I had my own hidden suffering. Very soon after, I was brought by the boss to stand before Xia, Jiking, and the others. Ye Anyi still didn't recognize me, but she didn't even bother to care, just looking at my eyes, through the mask, and the lines of my face. She knew immediately I was a rare top-tier find. She dialed a number to call Sister Xiang. I'm gifting you a huge heartthrob, want him? A heartthrob, Anyi. I trust your taste. If you say he's a heartthrob, then it definitely can't be wrong. Tell him to shower and then come to South Mountain Villa to find me. Don't worry. During this time, Xia, Jiking, and I didn't say a single word to each other. I was still waiting for her. Would she really just watch me be given away to someone else? Meanwhile, Xia Jiqing was also waiting for me to stop degrading myself like this, waiting for me to resist. She told herself that as long as I resisted, this time she would step in to help me. But even when Ye Anyi called people to take me away, I still didn't make any move. No one knew that behind the mask, how tense my face was, or how humiliated I felt. Xia Jiqing truly didn't care about me anymore. She really wanted to give me away to someone else. I wanted to resist, but thinking of the nearly 2 billion hospital fee for my mother, I fell back into despair. I had no other choice. What's the point of clinging to that hollow noble pride? Can it be traded for money? Can it make my mother get well again? After all, as for selling my soul for money, Lin Jingwen already did that years ago. Isn't that right? Before leaving, I looked at Xia Jiqing from afar. The disgust and resentment in her eyes nearly swallowed me whole. Arriving at the South Mountain Villa, I was led into a magnificent and luxurious bedroom. I took a deep breath, telling myself that for the sake of money, it was no big deal at all. On the bed in the bedroom strewn with fresh flowers, lay an obese woman right in the center, her face full of arrogant flesh. That woman stared at my body from top to bottom, nodding in satisfaction. Then she pointed at my mask, signaling me to take it off. I removed the mask, revealing a face covered in wounds that still couldn't hide its handsome features. I thought she would be repulsed, but unexpectedly her eyes lit up. She kept nodding greedily, constantly swallowing her spit. This battered, broken look, I love it. Saying that, the woman pointed at the wine glass on the table. Drink? I didn't hesitate and downed it in one go. The wine was very strong. Before long, my head began to spin. The woman moved her flabby body closer to me. Hey, handsome. Have you ever tasted the feeling of being close to death from the cold? What? I was completely dazed, unable to stand steady and falling to my knees by the chair. You'd better hold on tight. A man as good looking as this. It would be such a waste if you died so soon. Finishing her sentence, she pulled out a long whip. Before I could even react, a long lash looped around my neck. The whip was suddenly pulled tight, constricting my throat. I wanted to resist, but found that my entire body lacked any strength. There was something wrong with that wine earlier. With my body collapsing, I could only feebly struggle before falling to the floor, trying to escape the constraint of the long whip. But the woman became more and more frenzied. Seeing that I could still struggle, she became even more excited, and sat right on top of me, her hands constantly tightening their grip. The feeling of suffocation increased steadily. I felt like I couldn't breathe at all, to the point where my neck bones felt like they were shattering. In that moment close to death, many images flashed through my mind, mostly related to Xia Jiqing. Just as I despairingly decided to give up on life, the bedroom door was suddenly pushed open. Within Lin Jingwen's white blurred vision, I saw Jia Jiqing rushing toward me. Was it a dream? I woke up in the hospital once again. Opening my eyes, I noticed someone in the ward. A silhouette that was very familiar. Awake. It was Xia Jiqing. My throat was severely injured. Even swallowing saliva felt as painful as swallowing knives. I could only struggle to make a raspy sound. You saved me, Xia. Jiking's face showed a flicker of awkwardness, but she quickly regained her usual look of disgust. I haven't tortured you enough yet. How could you die? Hearing those words, it felt like 10,000 arrows pierced my heart. She hated me to that extent. I know you hate me. Good that you know. So there's no need to thank me this time. Ani also wanted to help me partner with Madame Xiang, which is why she offered you to her. Ultimately, the person who actually gave you to Madame Xiang was me. I pursed my lips and said nothing. Xia. Jiqing stared at the dark purple bruises on my neck. Just looking at them was enough to make one shiver. No one knew how panicked her heart had been when she saw my near breathless state, but she kept telling herself that she hadn't gotten enough revenge yet, which was why she couldn't let me die. You're truly despicable. For money, you were actually willing to climb into someone's bed? Lin Jingwen, you really opened my eyes. I let out a laugh. For me right now, money is the most important thing. For money, I'd even risk my life, let alone climbing into a bed. 5 years ago, to get the money for my mother's treatment, I agreed to the demand of Xia Jiking's family, accepted the 15 billion Vietnamese dong breakup fee, and cut ties with Xia Jiking. At that time, facing all kinds of insults from her family, I could only pretend that I didn't care at all. I even knelt down holding those 15 billion in both hands, thanking them with tears in my eyes. And honestly, I should have been grateful. Compared to my mother's life, this bit of humiliation meant nothing. But I always felt ashamed towards Xia Jiking. Regardless of the reason, I really did abandon her for the past 5 years. The torment nearly swallowed me whole, forcing me to suffer in misery day and night. Is that so? If that's the case, come be my servant. The kind of servant who must show up the moment they're called. Each month, I'll pay you 1.5 billion, 1,500 million, just enough to cover the hospital fees this time. I had no reason to refuse. Fine. Xia Jiking suddenly burst out laughing, a laughter full of malice and sarcasm, laughing so hard she almost couldn't breathe. Who the hell do you think you are? Demanding 1.5 billion a month. Do you think you're actually worth that much money? Then a glass of cold water was splashed right in my face. I was caught completely off guard, my hair and clothes soaked in an instant. But when I met Xia Jiking's gaze, compared to the coldness on my body, my heart was frozen to the absolute extreme. Do you know why you were fired? From your previous 3 jobs, it was because of me. How could I let you live easily? This sentence was the final straw that broke the camel's back, causing the last bit of warmth and hope left in my heart to completely shatter. I stared blankly at the glass in Xia Jiqing's hand, letting the water droplets roll down my cheeks, my gaze empty and lifeless, like a puppet that had lost its soul. How does it feel? Are you awake now, or do you still not realize how little you are worth? Do you have any idea how much I hate you? For the past 5 years, not a single moment went by where I didn't think of torturing you. Revenging you, I want you to suffer even more than I did. Saying that, she took a check out of her bag and threw it right at my face. Here's the 1.7 billion payment Madame Jiang gave you. It's the body money you earned yourself. Jia Jiqing was so angry, her whole body was trembling. She didn't know that when she held the check Madame Jiang asked her to deliver, at that moment the pain and resentment in her heart were beyond words. How could she release it? It felt like 10,000 ants were gnawing at her heart, making her almost unable to breathe. Looking at the marks on my neck, she spoke spitefully. Why didn't you just die at Madame Jiang's hands? I no longer had any reaction left, letting Xia Jiqing verbally execute me. After Xia Jiqing left, my mind slowly regained clarity. I got out of bed, clutched the check from the floor in my palm, and finally burst into loud sobbing tears. The sound of suppressed bitter crying echoed throughout the ward. By the time the nurse came to check the room late at night, I had fainted and was unconscious on the floor. Why is his body so severely depleted like this? I wasn't fully awake yet, but I could hear Xia Jiqing's angry voice. The patient is a cancer survivor who underwent chemotherapy. The cancer cells in his body have basically been eliminated, but due to the prolonged chemo, combined with years of accumulated overwork, his body has suffered severe depletion. These words left Xia Jiqing completely stunned. Terms like cancer and chemotherapy were so terrifying that hearing them made Xia Jiqing's limbs turn ice cold. Could it be that 5 years ago you left me to go abroad? Because you were sick. Did you really have a hidden struggle? You didn't actually want to abandon me. After the doctors had all left, Xia Jiqing sat beside my hospital bed, leaning down to meticulously study every feature of my face. Her heart suddenly became strangely calm. All the chaotic thoughts in her head gradually reconnected into a straight line. Now she only wanted to know what exactly happened 5 years ago. She absolutely had to get a clear answer. She felt that if there truly was a misunderstanding, then there might still be a chance for us. The lingering expectation in her heart made her breath quicken with tension. The ward fell into silence. I drifted off again. By the time I woke up, I realized I was no longer in the regular ward from before, but in a spacious and luxurious private suite. There were several nurses and doctors around, constantly on standby monitoring my condition. Anyone who didn't know better would think I was suffering from some terminal disease. I was a bit confused. I understood my own body. I had simply been overly agitated, combined with a lack of proper rest, which led to the fainting. I just needed a few days of rest to recover. There was no need to mobilize such a massive force. Like this, however, the only person who would go to such lengths for me was likely only Xia Jiqing. Right then, Xia Jiqing suddenly pushed the door open and entered. Seeing that I had opened my eyes, a flash of joy appeared on her face. Then she asked the doctor, "How is he? Is he okay?" The doctor bowed while taking notes. "Please rest assured, CEO Xia. The patient is recovering very well. With some extra nourishment for 2 more days, he'll be able to walk again." She nodded in satisfaction and waved her hand, signaling them to leave. Only the 2 of us remained in the ward. I didn't know what Xia Jiqing was planning in her heart. Clearly at our last meeting, she had said such heartless things, yet now she showed such concern for me. Last time, I truly thought she never wanted to see my face again. Xia Jiqing sat down on the edge of the hospital bed, her gaze rarely lacking its usual overbearingness. "I want to ask you a few things. You must answer me honestly." "What is it?" A sense of unease rose in my heart, feeling that she might ask questions that would be difficult for me to answer. 5 years ago, why exactly did you leave me?" "As expected, it was about 5 years ago." "Speak, tell me." Thinking that maybe I truly had a hidden struggle, maybe I just didn't want her to worry. So I hid my illness to go abroad for treatment. Thinking about these things, Xia Jiqing was almost going crazy. "There's no hidden struggle." I suppressed the heartache in my soul. "What did you say?" Xia Jiqing's eyes widened as she suddenly stood up. She didn't believe my answer, leaning more toward the idea that I had some secret burden. "The cancer from a few years ago. Why did you hide it from me?" "Naturally, because before going abroad, I didn't even know myself. I tried to suppress my panic and started making up a story. 5 years ago, your mother told me to break up with you. She gave me 15 billion. Ha! That's a whole 15 billion. Even if my family sold our whole house, it wouldn't be worth a fraction of that. Naturally, I couldn't refuse. Then while I was abroad, I guess God saw I was greedy and betrayed your trust and punished me with this cancer. I was scared to death back then. I used that money for chemotherapy. Luckily, I didn't let it reach the final stage. It took a full 3 years. I finally defeated cancer." These words were a mix of truth and lies. Even if Xia Jiqing investigated, it would be hard to tell them apart. After all, what I said wasn't technically false. Taking the 15 billion was real. Fighting against cancer for 3 years was also real. It's just that I completely hid the truth about my mother in the nursing home. Xia Jiqing stood there, her chest heaving violently. "Tell me the truth isn't like that." "It's the truth. You can't just because the result isn't what you hoped for claim that it's a lie." "Shut up." Xia Jiking's face darkened. She completely lost it. She felt like a total clown. For actually believing a guy like me could have a hidden struggle. She had hated me for 5 years, but also secretly hoped for 5 years. She hated my abandonment, but also held a glimmer of hope that I truly had my reasons. Heaven only knows when she heard I had cancer, how much her heart pained and rejoiced at the same time. Rejoiced because she finally thought she knew the truth, knowing that her ex-boyfriend was actually not that despicable. "I truly regret ever knowing you, Lin." "Jingwen." I suppressed the surging pain in my heart, not daring to look Xia Jiqing in the eyes. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to help myself and would blurt out the entire truth to her, but the price of revealing the secret was too great. I didn't dare gamble. Xia Jiqing was silent for a long time. She just stood there still, her entire being radiating a sense of brokenness and helplessness after hope had died. I knew we were truly over. By my own hands, I had pushed away the girl I loved for so long. "Don't you want money? I'll help you." She approached step by step, her gaze cold, carrying a trace of hidden madness. "Then come be my servant. I guarantee you'll live a life of luxury." My fingertips trembled slightly. I pretended to be nonchalant and nodded. "Then many thanks, Miss Xia. Rest assured, from now on, I will obey you absolutely. If you tell me to go east, I'll never go west. Whatever you tell me to do, I'll agree, as long as you're happy. But I have one request. The price you offered last time must not change. I want 1.7 billion every month." Upon hearing these words, Xia Jiking's gaze toward me grew even more contemptuous. "Don't worry. I won't let you be short of that small change." After saying that, Xia Jiqing left. Just like that, Xia Jiqing seemed to have disappeared from my world. For several days straight, she didn't show up. For 2 full days, I stayed in the hospital to recover my body. Health is the most important capital. Even if I didn't care about myself, for my mother's sake, I had to take good care of myself. On the day of my discharge, someone claiming to be Xia Jiking's assistant brought a contract and told me to sign it immediately after reading. I looked it over once, It was about the agreement Xia Jiqing and I had discussed previously. I didn't hesitate at all and signed my name right on the contract. After that, the assistant took me to the Luren bar. Stopping in front of a private room, Go in CEO Xia is waiting inside. I walked in and saw only two people, Xia Jiqing and Madame Jiang. I had a bit of a psychological trauma regarding Madame Jiang. After all, that near-death experience was far too horrific. Seeing me standing still, Xia Jiqing waved me over. Come over and serve. You were called here to apologize. I didn't believe in this so-called apology for a second, but I had no reason to refuse. I steeled myself and sat between the two of them, starting to pour wine for Madame Jiang. On Madame Jiang's face, full of arrogant flesh, a hint of tipsiness appeared. She laughed lewdly. Hey, Jingwen. Right sister here has been missing you non-stop. Ever since our last meeting. My heart can't hold anyone else anymore. Those words nearly made me throw up. I was truly disgusted by this Jiang woman beside me to the extreme. As for Xia Jiqing, she leaned back in her chair, her face completely expressionless. Occasionally, she smiled back at Madame Jiang's gaze, but otherwise, she remained silent. You should drink too. Jingwen, don't just pour for me, Madame Jiang poured a brimful glass and held it in front of me, staring at me intently, not allowing a refusal. I looked at Xia Jiqing instinctively, seeing her keep her head down at her phone, then quickly turning off the screen. Clearly, she was a bit distracted. I thought it was just helping Xia Jiqing push a business deal forward. Drinking a bit of wine was no big deal. Could Madame Jiang really dare to drug me right in front of Xia Jiqing? Without thinking much, I downed it in one go. Great tolerance. Madame Jiang grabbed my shoulder, excitedly about to kiss me. I immediately dodged and forced myself to stand up. This wine was too strong. I already started feeling dazed. I looked at Xia Jiqing, her figure beginning to split into multiple layers, seeing thousands of stars. I didn't know when I lost consciousness. By the time I woke up, I found myself in a strange room. In an instant, I understood everything. My face turned pale as a tightening pain in my chest made it impossible to breathe. While lost in thought, the sound of flowing water trickling from the bathroom reached my ears. I turned my head to look and saw Madame Jiang wearing thin pajamas, approaching me step by step. Get lost, you're so stubborn. She stepped off the bed, taking a small knife out from the drawer. Tell me if I carve into you, stroke by stroke. How long can you endure before passing out? Crazy. She's truly a deranged pervert. I kept turning my head toward the room door. I wished that right now Xia Jiqing would burst through the door. I really didn't want to die at the hands of this maniac. I still have an elderly mother to take care of. Are you hoping Xia Jiqing will come save you? Stop dreaming. This time, I yielded 30% of the profits to her. She has no reason at all to meddle in my business anymore. Hearing those words, I went numb, completely stopping my struggle. Jiqing, does she really want me dead that badly? That's more like it. If you just follow me obediently, why would I ever let you suffer? Madame Jiang held the small knife and climbed onto the bed straddling me. My body began to tremble violently. When exactly will this finally end? Might as well just give me one final decisive strike. At the very moment I completely lost consciousness, I heard the sound of the door being kicked open. I thought for sure Xia Jiqing had come to save me. In the end, she must have softened her heart. Xia Jiqing brought me to the hospital. Seeing my body covered in blood, even the doctor couldn't bear to look and frowned. After the examination and treatment, the doctor stepped out. CEO, yeah, this patient has many knife wounds on his body. There are even ligature marks on his neck from being strangled. This is a case of physical abuse, isn't it? We need to call the police. Xia Jiqing's eyebrows furrowed tightly, watching me fall into a state of coma. Her heart suddenly welled up with guilt and heartache. She was just about to snap at the doctor to mind his own business when Ye Anji's voice echoed outside the ward. It's not self-inflicted by the patient. He has suicidal tendencies. The doctor said nothing more, just gave a few simple instructions and left. Ye Anji looked at me with my body covered in wounds, clicking her tongue and shaking her head. Ziqing, I really don't know what you're trying to do anymore. You want to torture him to take revenge on him, but you're the one who steps in time after time. To stop it, you're being too contradictory. I can't even tell if you actually hate him or not anymore. Hate or not. Of course she hated me, but it wasn't just simple hatred. At this moment, Xia Jiqing finally realized that the feelings she had for me weren't just hate. She hated my abandonment, but also couldn't bear to see me get hurt. When I was taken away by Madame Jiang, Xia Jiqing's inner self had gone through a round of torment. Is there a bit of love in that hate, Ye An? Ji asked too directly, receiving no answer. Ye Anji didn't entirely believe her silence. She still understood Xia Jiqing very well. Xia Jiqing's face darkened. Fine, stop asking. In short, I know what I'm doing. Seeing that she couldn't get anything else Ye An, Ji prepared to leave, but didn't forget to leave one reminder. Don't play too far. By the time the fire burns you, the one getting hurt will still be you. Don't let the same person stab you twice in the same spot again. Xia Jiqing pursed her lips tightly, her eyes staring intently at me without saying a word. And another thing, your wedding with Li Shu Yuan has been decided for a long time. You know full well how important this alliance is. It's tied to whether you can inherit the Xia Corporation, become the actual power holder of the Xia family. Whether or not the importance of Li Xiuyuan needs to be said by me. Furthermore, he has silently been by your side all these years. Don't let him down. You're my friend. And so is Li Xiuyuan. I don't want anything unpleasant to happen between you two later. After Ye Anji left, Xia Jiking sank into a long silence. Not just Ye Anji, but Xia Jiking herself soon realized she wasn't okay. Her mind was always being dragged away by me. My influence on her was far too great. After several days in a continuous coma, it was 3 days later when I finally woke up. The moment I moved my body, I felt a burning pain all over. I looked around once. It was still that same luxurious private ward. As expected, Xia Jiking had saved me. She was the one who pushed me into death's door. Yet she was also the one who saved my life. I smiled bitterly. Just as I was about to force myself up to walk a bit, the ward door was pushed open forcefully. Walking in was a tall man with a large build. From the very first look he gave me, that high and mighty attitude of his could not be hidden. He didn't come with good intentions. That was my first reaction. Who are you? You don't recognize me. The newcomer wore a meaningful smile. His eyes blatantly scanned the wounds on my body. My name is Li Xiuyuan of the Li Group, and also the fiancé of Xia Jiking. Fiancé. It felt like I'd been struck by a massive sledgehammer. I stared at Li Xiuyuan in disbelief. Does she love you? Li Xiuyuan curled his lip into a contemptuous smile. He slowly opened his phone and clicked on a video. In the video, Xia Jiking was being held tightly in Li Xiuyuan's arms, the two of them in a very intimate and close pose. For 5 years abroad, I had also thought about the possibility that Xia Jiking would love someone else. She would be just like when she loved me back then, giving her heart completely to another man. But when, for the first time, I witnessed it directly with my own eyes like this, I still felt a sense of suffocation and pain, crashing down like a surging waterfall. In an instant, I couldn't react at all, only able to stare blankly at the video playing on loop. Seeing this reaction from me, Li Xiuyuan looked very satisfied. As you can see, Xia Jiking and I are very much in love. We are destined to grow old together. Mr. Lin, stop being a clown and clinging to delusions. I know who you are. You're just scum. Who abandoned his girlfriend for money 5 years ago to go abroad? Someone as depraved as you shouldn't even have the right to speak in front of me. But I am generous. I've endured your constant appearances in front of Ziqing since you returned. That's because I knew she wanted revenge on you. But now I've changed my mind. I don't want you showing up in front of her ever again. I'll give you a sum of money. Take the money and get lost. Disappear just like you did 5 years ago. And don't ever show up again. Otherwise, I won't let you off. Having said that, Li Xiuyuan threw down a check. On it was clearly written the amount of 17 billion. 17 billion again. But I couldn't take any more. 5 years ago, it was because both my mother and I had the family's inherited disease, even if not for myself then for my mother. I was forced to accept the Xia family's charity. But now my illness is cured, and my mother's condition has stabilized. As long as I work hard to earn money, combined with the money earned at Laren Bar and from Madame Jiang recently, it's at least enough for 6 months of hospital fees. I won't take your money. Right now, I also can't leave my mother. She is still waiting for a kidney transplant. Leaving now would be too great a risk. I can't gamble. The Xia family promised me that they would help me find a doctor and treat my mother on the condition that I could never be with Xia Jiking. Thinking of this, my gaze darkened a few shades. My answer sent Li Xiuyuan into a violent rage. He suddenly grabbed my collar, gritting his teeth in fury. You still dare to play the high and mighty act with me? You little brat. Are you really not afraid to die? I was naturally afraid to die. Who in this world isn't afraid of death? But it was precisely because I feared death and feared something would happen to my mother that I couldn't leave. Please don't make things hard for me. I won't interfere in your and Ziqing's marriage. Your very presence here is interference. Li Xiuyuan used his strength to shove me away hard. He glared menacingly. I won't let you off. Just you wait. Why does everyone want to make things so hard for me? I felt exhausted and let out a heavy sigh. The earlier shove caused my wounds to split open. I felt the pain spreading, struggling to keep myself conscious. I remember you still have a mother, right? What did you say? I suddenly grabbed Li Xiuyuan's collar. My entire being finally bristled, like a hedgehog covered in sharp needles. No longer distracted or submissive like I was just a moment ago. Don't you touch her. No one is allowed to harm her. Just you try me. If you still refuse to vanish, I can't guarantee what I'll do. Don't regret it when that time comes. Shut up. Anyone whose loved one's life is used as a threat would find it impossible to stay patient. Seeing the rage of a talentless nobody like me, Li Xiuyuan finally felt somewhat satisfied. He left the ward contentedly. The space fell back into a deathly silence. My mind is a complete mess right now. I truly don't know what to do anymore. If Li Shu Yuan really wanted to strike, how could an ordinary guy like me escape? But the problem was, I couldn't take my mother away right now. Maybe Xia Jiqing could help me. At least she could restrain her fiance's evil actions, but I didn't know how to bring it up. Should I really say that I was just threatened by her fiance and then beg for her help? Just thinking about it made me feel like a lunatic. What if Xia Jiqing thinks I'm just trying to drive a wedge between the two of them? Luckily, no one came to bother me during this time. Xia Jiqing didn't show up, and Li Shu Yuan was nowhere to be seen. Nothing happened on my mother's side either. I breathed a sigh of relief. Maybe Li Shu Yuan was just bluffing. He probably wouldn't be cruel enough to strike a person who is gravely ill, right? I returned to Laren Bar. The boss looked at my wounds, which were more serious than the last time. He really couldn't help but ask, "You can still work like this?" "It's fine, boss. They're just superficial wounds. I'm okay." The boss honestly didn't want an employee who was always covered in injuries like that, but he had no other choice. Someone had ordered him to keep me at Laren Bar. Whatever. Private room 408 needs someone to bring wine. Go quickly. At this point, the wounds on my face were almost invisible. After putting on my vest, the knife stabs were well hidden. Only the scars on my neck were still exposed. Cover your neck too. The boss handed me a black lace strip. Tie it on. Those rich wives really dig this kind of style. Heading to private room 408, I pushed the door open. As soon as I entered, I saw Madame Jiang surrounded by a group of handsome men playing around very happily. My expression changed drastically. I didn't dare stay long. I turned to leave immediately. I only have one life. I didn't dare mess with that crazy Madame Jiang ever again. But Madame Jiang was sharp-eyed. The moment I entered, she saw me. She immediately called people to block me. What did I give you permission to leave? I suppressed my anger. Sorry, Madame Jiang, I just entered the wrong room. Wrong room? No, you didn't. You are the one I personally requested the boss to send over. Madame Jiang pushed aside those blocking her way. Holding a glass of red wine, she walked toward me. I've been interrupted twice by that girl besides Xia Jiqing. I'm usually a generous person, and didn't care to bicker with her. Yet she dared to get physical with me, shutting me down and stealing my board of directors, clients. Truly a formidable junior, isn't she? Her gaze became venomous and cold as she poured the wine in her hand straight down my head. Madame Jiang said fiercely, "I can't deal with her, but dealing with you is as easy as flipping my hand. Someone told me that your mother is in the Muhe nursing home. Do you know? The nursing home your mother is staying in is invested in by our Li family." My eyes widened in horror. My breath suddenly hitched. The kidney my mother needs finally reached her turn. Right now, she cannot leave that nursing home. I fell to my knees, begging Madame Jiang. "I beg you, madam." Xia Jiqing walked in just in time to witness this scene. She saw me kneeling on the ground, kowtowing repeatedly, while Madame Jiang sat arrogantly on the sofa, sipping fine wine. Xia Jiqing flared up with rage. Her chest felt like it would explode from resentment. I wasn't sure if it was more from heartache or from the stifling atmosphere of this room. "No, I need to get forgiveness from Madame Jiang." I just stayed kneeling there, dodging Xia Jiqing's hand as she tried to pull me up. In this moment, I suddenly understood many things. The world is like this. Those with money and power can easily crush me like an ant, while I can only throw away my pride and obey. That pride vanished 5 years ago anyway. Unable to pull me up, Xia Jiqing could only point her spear at Madame Jiang. "What did you do to him?" Madame Jiang raised an eyebrow, nonchalantly replying, "I didn't do anything. I just said a few words to him." That he's already this terrified. Goodness, he really can't handle even a little bit of a scare. The grudge between us, don't drag him into it. It has nothing to do with him at all. I heard that 5 years ago. You were half dead because a man abandoned you. Now you're saying it has nothing to do with him. Half dead. Yet. My posture while kneeling on the ground grew even more limp. I'm afraid to hear about what happened 5 years ago. That's why even though Xia Jiqing humiliated me many times, I never truly resented her. I had simply lost heart regarding this relationship long ago, no longer daring to dream of that bright moon in the sky. But to say I blame Xia Jiqing, absolutely not. Being hurt by her, I felt it was like making amends instead. My heart actually felt much lighter. It's just because I was immature back then. Madame Jiang, don't tell me you think I still like him? Isn't that the case? Of course not, but Lin Jingwen is the one who signed a contract with me, even if he's to be tortured. Only I am allowed to do it. Others have no right. Having said that, she told her assistant to give the contract to Madame Jiang. After Madame Jiang opened it to look, her expression shifted instantly. She gave me a meaningful look. "So, can I take my person away now?" Madame Jiang said. "Of course I have no reason to stop you." Madame Jiang suppressed her anger, slamming the contract down on the table. She had originally intended to buy me, to keep me by her side and torture me at will. She didn't expect Xia Jiqing to be one step faster. But either way, it was no different. Xia Jiking also wanted to torment me. Besides, it really wasn't worth it for someone like me to completely fall out with the Xia group. As a business person, one should always leave a way out for others. Thinking of this, Madame Jiang waved us off. She gestured for us to leave. Xia Jiking grabbed my hand and led me away. The two of us sat inside the car. Xia Jiking was applying medicine to my forehead. It was Li Xiu Yuan. What? Xia Jiking asked. She clearly didn't understand why I suddenly said that. Li Xiu Yuan was the one who told Madame Jiang about my mother at the Muhi nursing home. He just wanted to use Madame Jiang's hands to deal with me. Before I could even finish the sentence, I received a thunderous slap. Madame Jiang wanted to target you. Isn't it normal for him to investigate your background? Him finding out about your mother is as easy as flipping a hand. What does this have to do with Li Xiu Yuan? 1216. And besides, how could you even know Li Xiu Yuan? I tilted my head, feeling the burning pain on my face. She didn't believe me at all makes sense. Compared to her own fiancé, of course, a piece of trash who abandoned her, like me, is even less worthy of trust. But I still clung to one last ray of hope. I needed Xia Jiking to step in and stop Li Xiu Yuan's crazy actions. Li Xiu Yuan came to my hospital room. Last time he said he wouldn't let my mother go. He even tried to give me money so that And then you didn't take the money, right? I won't take his money. Xia Jiking slapped me yet again. Are you pretending? To be noble, why wouldn't you take the money? Didn't you take it 5 years ago? Who are you acting for now? Xia Jiking truly hated me. She hated me for heartlessly leaving her for money. But she felt that lately she had already gotten her revenge on me. Making me this pathetic meant we were even. But she didn't expect that I'd once again do something so disgusting. I actually dared to hallucinate about driving a wedge between her and her fiancé. Don't use your dirty tricks on Li Xiu Yuan. He is very important to me. Xia Jiking gritted her teeth, trying to suppress a murderous urge. That important? So you really like Li Xiu Yuan then? It turns out Li Xiu Yuan wasn't lying. They really do love each other. I forced a laugh, my heart pierced with agonizing pain. Suddenly, I remembered 5 years ago it was like a nightmare. The pressure was too great. I couldn't close my eyes all night. Sometimes I had to rely on sleeping pills just to drift off. If it wasn't for my mother, and to return to make amends to Xia Jiking, perhaps I would have given up on chemotherapy long ago. Chemo was so painful, my hair fell out in large clumps. My whole body wasted away until I was just skin and bones, my hands covered in needle marks. Do you really not trust me at all? What do you have that's worth my trust? How cruel. Xia Jiking was truly heartless. Just a simple sentence like that made my heart go completely cold. My forehead hurt from the impact. But compared to Xia Jiking's words that stabbed like knives, this bit of pain was nothing. Just then, there was a knock on the car door. Rolling down the window, I saw it was Li Xiu Yuan. He saw me there and his smile vanished instantly. Ziking, why is he here? His forehead is injured, so I came to apply some medicine for him. Xia Jiking stepped out of the car and naturally linked her arm with Li Xiu Yuan's. Let me introduce you. This is my old classmate, Mr. Lin Jingwen. Him. She didn't even dare to admit we once loved each other. I bowed my head and walked away, my eyes showing clear disappointment. Then Xia Jiking looked back toward me. This is my fiancé Li Xiu Yuan. He and I have met before. We bumped into each other at the hospital. Back then, I heard his mother's health wasn't good, so I asked a few questions. It clearly wasn't concern but a threat, yet Xia Jiking believed him. She secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Luckily, Li Xiu Yuan wasn't like that. Li Xiu Yuan had always been by her side all these years. After being abandoned, she had fallen into self-torment, doubting herself and hurting so much she didn't want to live. Right at that moment, her father's illegitimate son from the Xia family came knocking. He returned, aggressively to fight her for the inheritance. The Xia family had always believed in the rule that only the capable could sit in that position. As long as his blood carried the Xia family name, even if he was just an illegitimate son, he still had the right to compete for the leadership. At that time, because she had been abandoned, her spirit had nearly collapsed entirely. Her state was incredibly dire. In the war with that illegitimate son, she suffered defeat after defeat. But right at the most critical moment, it was Li Xiu Yuan who stepped up to invest and support her. Thanks to that, the situation turned from danger to safety. Therefore, Xia Jiking was very grateful to Li Xiu Yuan. But she understood one thing clearly: she didn't love him. She and Li Xiu Yuan could be perfect business partners. They could become a couple who respected each other like guests. But they could absolutely never be a pair of deeply in love soulmates. They looked so well matched and harmonious together. Sitting in the car, I couldn't help but feel my nose sting with tears. I stepped out of the vehicle, not responding at all to Li Xiu Yuan's outstretched hand. Li Xiu Yuan didn't get angry either. He just smiled and withdrew his hand. He even turned to tease Xia Jiking. It seems this classmate of yours doesn't like me very much. Xia Jiking looked at me with a murderous expression. Clearly she was very dissatisfied with my tactless behavior. I will not shake hands with the two-faced hypocrite. Lin Jingwen, don't you dare. Push your luck. Jia Jiqing hissed a threat. Li Shuyuan raised an eyebrow, his smile vanishing. Even he hadn't expected that I would dare to humiliate him so shamelessly, right to his face like that. No matter how much he wanted to act generous in front of Xia Jiqing, he was starting to find it difficult now. Li Shuyuan wanted to fly into a rage, but was forced to suppress his emotions, making his facial muscles twist in an odd way. It seems there's a slight misunderstanding between us. Mr. Lin. Mr. Lin saw Xia Jiqing standing beside another man, standing up for him, and then turning around to make things difficult for me. I only felt my chest tighten, breathing, becoming difficult. Like a stubborn loser, I cut him off. There's no misunderstanding. Aren't you exactly that kind of two-faced villain? As soon as the words left my mouth, Xia Jiqing landed a fiery slap on me. I think you've lost it. Lin Jingwen, who do you think you are? What right? Do you have to treat my fiancé like that? This slap actually snapped me back to reality. My reason gradually returned. I had lost control a bit just now. I looked at Li Xiuyuan, standing behind Xia Jiqing. He was smirking at me with pure provocation. I shifted my gaze to Xia Jiqing. Seeing her face burning with rage, I nodded. Sorry for disturbing you two. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. After speaking, without waiting for Xia Jiqing to say another word, I turned and walked away. I had to go. I was afraid if I stayed, I would lose my mind. Once again, just now, I was driven insane with jealousy toward Li Xiuyuan. That evil flame of envy had dragged the love I'd hidden for years and burned it out in broad daylight. I almost let outsiders see right through me. I was terrified. I worried the Xia family would find out, would know that I still haven't moved on from Xia Jiqing, fearing they wouldn't keep their word, that they'd break the promise to help find a kidney source. After all these years, I finally got word from the Xia family. The Xia family found a suitable kidney for my mother. We no longer had to wait in an endless line for news from the hospital. This matter absolutely could not afford any mistakes. Ziking, what's wrong? He's already gone. Xia Jiqing kept staring in the direction I disappeared. Li Xiuyuan felt frustrated and unhappy, but he couldn't take it out on the woman he loved, so he could only dump all his resentment onto me. Nothing. I just feel like my slap just now was a bit too much. Was I too impulsive? You weren't wrong. You are never ever wrong. Whatever you do, I will always stand by you, on the condition that you must be obedient and not think about leaving. I returned to Laren Bar. Seeing me gone for so long, the boss inevitably flew into a rage. Do you even know what your status is? You dare to not serve the customers properly. You've made my guest absolutely furious. She just came here to complain about you, demanding that I fire you. Do you know who Madame Jiang is? How do you have the guts to offend her? In all my years of doing business, I've never met an employee who causes trouble like you. If you're not provoking this boss, then you're offending that boss. Can't you just stay in your place for once? The boss felt like he truly gave up on me. But Mr. Li requested that he must keep me here and monitor my every move. He couldn't understand why a man like Mr. Li would care so much about a male host. Could Mr. Li's preferences have some issues? Probably not. Everyone in the circle knows Mr. Li has a fiancé, and his fiancé is CEO Xia. CEO Xia, the boss's eyes widened in shock. He looked at me with disbelief, while I could only bow my head in silence. A coward. Weakling like me. Then he suddenly realized it was a love triangle. What love triangle? Nothing. You can go. I'm giving you the night off today. Go home and get some good rest. The boss was an old fox. Naturally, he saw through the complexity of the situation. He wouldn't offend Li Xiuyuan, nor would he be foolish enough to anger Xia Jiqing. He could only choose to play it safe, trying his best not to get caught in this mess. Leaving Laren Bar, I noticed Xia Jiqing's car was still there. I was about to walk away when someone suddenly called out to me. It was Li Xiuyuan. He stepped out from the shadows, his face dark and cold, with no trace of his usual mask left, trace of the kindness he had just faked in front of Xia Jiqing. Instead, there was an undisguised madness. The words I said last time. Did you not take them to heart at all? Wait until after my mother's surgery is completed. I will take her abroad. I absolutely won't bother you and Miss Xia again. These words couldn't put Li Xiuyuan at ease. He didn't believe I would truly give up on this relationship. Otherwise, I wouldn't always appear in front of Xia Jiqing like this. He felt I was even more fake than she was. Ziking isn't here. Who are you putting on? This act 4, what do you want to make you believe me? Right at that moment, Li Xiuyuan saw that, not far away, Xia Jiqing was walking over. A plan suddenly popped into his head. He spoke to me in a low voice. How about this? I won't make things hard for you. Just promise you won't cling to Ziking anymore. That you no longer like her? And I'll let your mother go. Li Xiuyuan's gaze was hidden in the shadows. I didn't notice the gloating in his eyes. Ziking and I already have no possibility. We ended 5 years ago. Now I just wanted to make Li Xiuyuan believe I would never like her again. You say that, aren't you afraid she'll be heartbroken? She won't be. Because she stopped liking me a long time I'll go, I bowed my head, hiding the loss in my eyes. To make Li Shuyuan believe me more, I pulled up a document on my phone regarding the kidney test and showed it to him. My mother has found a suitable kidney source. After the surgery, I'll take her and leave. I'll never come back again. These words, Zia, Jiking heard every single one clearly. She heard me say I would no longer like her. It was like a sharp knife, stabbing straight into her heart. In an instant, fresh blood gushed out. At that moment, she felt like the whole world collapsed, especially when she heard that sentence saying I would never return again, making every breath feel like a sledgehammer blow, smashing down, leaving her breathless. By what right, why did he suddenly leave and then suddenly return? After turning my life upside down so completely, now he wants to leave me forever. Lin Jingwen, by what right do you trample on me like this, hurting me like this? Xia Jiking, fast as lightning, rushed forward and shoved me away. Cold glares shot out from her eyes. After steadying myself, I stood there frozen like a statue. Everything I said was hurt by Xia Jiking. Once again, I've hurt her, but I can't explain. I can't say that I'm still in love with Xia Jiking. What right do I have to love her in an instant? My face turned ashen. A surge of despair welled up in my heart. Who do you think you are, Lin Jingwen? You have cancer? Why haven't you just died and disappeared already? You've got quite a long life, don't you? Jiking, I was speechless, only able to shake my head slightly in hopelessness. Heart-wrenching pain probably only feels like this. Seeing that the plan had succeeded, Li Shuyuan briefly showed a look of smug satisfaction. But in the blink of an eye, are you okay, Zia? Jiking, this guy's tongue is so toxic. Don't take what he says to heart. He pretended to be magnanimous and generous, acting so thoughtful and caring that it made me look more lowly and pathetic than ever before. It wasn't until this moment that I fully realized I had fallen into Li Shuyuan's trap. You did it on purpose. You lured me into saying those things. You made Xia Jixing hate me. You're truly despicable and shameless. Enough. Before I could finish, I was cut off by Xia Jiking's roar. Her eyes turned dark and terrifying. Get out of my sight. I don't want to see your face ever again. If I see you again, I'm afraid I won't be able to stop myself from killing you. Fine. So it's truly over then. Though the process wasn't what I wished for, at least everyone has gotten what they wanted. I looked up at the sunset gradually fading, leaving this place of drama behind. Ever since that argument, I haven't seen Xia Jiking again. My mother's surgery was also about to begin. I resigned from Laren Bar to focus all my heart and soul on taking care of her. The strange thing was that Li Xiuyuan also stopped coming around to find trouble for me. During those days, at the hospital waiting for the surgery, my heart rarely found such moments of peace. Only later did I find out that Li Xiuyuan wasn't free to deal with me, because he was about to marry Xia Jiking. During the days my mother lay on the operating table, Xia Jiking and Li Xiuyuan were trying on wedding dresses and taking wedding photos together. That's for the best. It's fine. Everything should end here. 2 days later, my mother's surgery was a complete success. On one hand, I cared for my mother. On the other, I began preparing the paperwork to go abroad. Meanwhile, at the Shushan villa, Xia Jiking kept drinking without saying a single word. Anyi truly couldn't stand it anymore and snatched the wine glass from her hand. Xia Jiking, do you remember what you said? You'd never lose your mind over a man and lose yourself ever again. But what exactly are you doing right now? Isn't it just that you heard Lin Jingwen say he doesn't like you with your own ears, is it? That big of a deal? Is Lin Jingwen really that great? Is he worth you loving him for all these years? Besides, you're about to get married. Ziking, wake up, you can't let any mistakes happen at this crucial moment. With the marriage between the Xia and Li families, everyone on the outside is watching. Your father's illegitimate son is also watching you. If something like 5 years ago happens again, you'll truly lose everything and never have a chance to bounce back. Xia Jiqing understood all these facts perfectly. She knew, but emotions are things that can't be controlled. If she hadn't met me again, it might have been better. But once she did, the feeling suppressed for years simply could not be held down anymore. However much she hated me, she loved me just as much. But Ziking, there's something... Haven't you ever been suspicious? The appearance of that illegitimate son was a bit too coincidental. Anyi finally voiced the suspicion she'd buried for so long. What do you mean by that? Back then, your state was too dire. I was so grateful for Li Shuyuan's arrival that I never dared to think too much about it. Anyi downed a glass of wine. After the alcohol kicked in, she finally seemed to have enough courage to continue. But a few days ago, I went to Laren Bar and saw the bar owner chatting with Li Shuyuan. I heard them mention Lin Jingwen. What did they say? Xia Jiking's heart felt like it was about to jump out of her chest. She couldn't control her trembling hands at all. She had always believed the hero who saved her from the fire was Li Shuyuan. Could he really not be as kind as he appeared? Poor Xia Jiking suddenly recalled the words she had used to criticize him, remembering the scenes where every time they met, they were at each other's throats. Actually, it's nothing much. It's just that Li Shuyuan told the owner to report every single move Lin Jingwen makes to him. Besides that, he didn't do anything else. Of course, this is quite normal. He's your fiancé. To be concerned about Lin Jingwen's existence, a few jealous actions are inevitable. Ye Ani's words finally put Xia Jiqing at ease a bit. She still hoped Li Shuyuan had nothing to do with her father's illegitimate son. No connection at all. If he's a hero, then let him play his role. As a hero, well. She would also fulfill her duty as a wife, treating him with mutual respect, as long as he truly was as he appeared on the surface. Then what you just said about the illegitimate son appearing too coincidentally, what did you mean by that? Don't you see? Back then, Lin Jingwen had just left. You were frantically searching for him everywhere, when that illegitimate son appeared, leaving you no time to react. Moreover, he was clearly prepared beforehand. He had just arrived, yet he could already coordinate with the company veterans to side with him and corner you. If you say no one helped from behind, I wouldn't believe it. Right, this issue Xia Jiqing had also thought about at the time. She had suspected many people, the uncles in the family, and she even suspected her own father. The uncles wanting to target her was understandable. After all, there were conflicting interests. As for her father, naturally it was because he looked down on her as a girl. He wanted a son to inherit the family business more. But Grandpa believed in letting the most capable person take that position. As long as one had the talent, they could inherit the company. She had suspected so many people, but never Li Shuyuan. Anyway, don't overthink it. For now, just prepare well for the wedding. During this time, I'll help you investigate a bit about what exactly happened 5 years ago. Anyi, thank you. No need for formalities. Your company also has my shares. If you go down, I'll lose my investment too. But there's one more thing I want to remind you. Lin Jingwen's mother has finished her kidney transplant. Lin Jingwen is currently preparing to go abroad. What on earth does he want? Spend the next few days thinking it over carefully. Going abroad? He's about to go abroad. His heart is truly made of stone. He wants to abandon me once again. That day, my mother and I were taking a walk in the park near the nursing home when we happened to run into Xia Jiqing. What a coincidence, Jiqing. It's not a coincidence. I came here specifically to find you. To find me, is there something you need? She had said such harsh words that day, yet she could still take the lead to find me. I thought we'd never have the chance to see each other again. In my voice, I could barely hide my excitement. Are you about to go abroad? Yes. Then go. Go and never come back. Having said that, Xia Jiqing immediately turned and walked away. It started in a rush and ended just as abruptly as if she really only came to say a simple farewell to me. As she walked, she waved her hand. Have a safe trip. Then Jingwen, I stood there until Xia Jiqing's figure was no longer in sight. Only then did I feel the freezing cold on my cheeks. I didn't expect to be this useless. Are you crying, son? Why are you crying? It's nothing. The wind is just too strong. Who was that girl? An old classmate. Just a classmate? She can only be a classmate. A month passed, and my mother's health gradually recovered. Preparations for the journey abroad also began, but no one expected that the day before leaving, I would be knocked unconscious from behind. When I woke up again, I found myself in a dilapidated warehouse, tightly tied to a pillar. Surrounding me were several masked men standing guard. I've been kidnapped. Why I have no power or influence. Why would these kidnappers target me? In an instant, a name flashed through my mind. Li Shuyuan. It must be Li Shuyuan. He wants to kill me. No, I can't just sit here and wait to die. I have to find a way to save myself. I began to observe my surroundings. The kidnappers hadn't realized I was awake yet. They were still standing in front discussing something. One of them was holding a phone in his hand. Rest assured, we know our limits. But you must understand this. Kidnapping is one thing, but murder and disposing of a body is completely different. Add another 35 billion to buy his life? The voice on the other end was unclear. That person was very cautious. He used a voice changer. The Xia family. Such a prestigious family like that. Could they really be short on these 35 billion? Of course not. But right now, where can I find the time to prepare 35 billion in cash for you guys? Besides, this wasn't the price originally agreed upon. You guys suddenly raising the price like this? If word gets out, it won't sound very good. The kidnappers laughed arrogantly. We're kidnappers. There's no such thing as preaching morality here. Suddenly raising the price is exactly our style. Fine, I'll prepare it as quickly as possible. As soon as you receive the money, you must kill him immediately. We don't have much time for you. 2 days. At most 2 days. The money must be delivered within 2 days. Otherwise, we can't guarantee that the fact you hired someone to kill won't be known by others. The person on the other end of the line gritted their teeth, clearly furious to the point of madness. Money is no problem. I just don't know if your work is clean or not. Don't leave a bunch of trouble for me when the time comes. Don't worry us. Brothers have always worked neatly. The person on the phone continued. He has no friends in this country. Only a sick mother. Lately, he has been preparing to go abroad. even if anyone actually cares where he is. They'll just think he already went abroad. But that sick, old woman is always a potential threat. To ensure there are no loopholes, even his mother must not be spared. Damn, you're the most evil of all. Killing one person is killing. Killing two is the same. This sickly, frail guy, my brothers will take care of him for you too. Hearing these words, my heart felt like it fell into an abyss. So that's how it is. No wonder lately Lee Chuyuan hasn't bothered me. It turns out he had calculated everything this carefully. No one knows I've been kidnapped, and no one will come to save me. At most, when my mother discovers something is wrong and goes to the police, I'll likely have already been buried in the deep sea. But these animals clearly don't intend to spare even my mother. I was clearly just a little bit away, just a little bit more, and I could have taken my mom abroad, away from all the domestic strife and drama, and yet right before leaving, I ran into trouble. I truly can't accept this. In an instant, despair and resentment surrounded my mind. I wonder how my mom is doing now. I wonder if Xia Jiking finds out I've been harmed. Would she feel heartbroken for me? At this point, the kidnappers finally realized I was awake. Awake, huh? You heard everything, didn't you? This place is desolate and remote. They aren't afraid of me calling for help. They roughly ripped the duct tape off my mouth. Li Xiu Yuan ordered this right. A dead man like you is asking way too many questions. I beg you, please spare my mother. She's just a patient who just finished surgery. She won't affect you guys at all. I saw that I had no hope of surviving, so now I can only place a sliver of fragile hope on the kidnapper's conscience, hoping they spare my mother. But a gang of killers who dispose of bodies has no conscience. That won't do. We have to send both you and your mom on your way. Over by the kidnappers, someone suddenly kicked over a chair in anger. Damn it. Where could a sick old hag hide? Someone is helping her. It's Mom. Mom is okay. This is great. Kidnapped for a whole day and night, I didn't cry once. But at this moment, I suddenly cried and laughed at the same time, looking no different from a madman. The kidnapper furiously rushed over and rained punches on me. Immediately, blood streamed from my nose and my entire face swelled up. 2 days later, the kidnappers finally received the cash. After counting the money thoroughly, they turned their heads toward me, who had been tortured beyond recognition. He held a knife and approached me step by step, like a demon manifesting from hell. It's over. Everything is truly over. A massive crashing sound echoed through the air. The warehouse doors were slammed wide open. As the light poured in from the entrance, I saw Xia Jiking rushing toward me against the light. Is this a dream, or have I already gone to heaven? I completely blacked out. I truly thought my life had reached its end. When I opened my eyes again, my entire body ached to the very bone. I was wrapped in bandages from head to toe like a mummy. Who is it? Who keeps walking back and forth by my hospital bed? It seems to be Xia Jiking. Is Xia Jiking on the phone? Am I dead? My voice was incredibly weak. No one heard me. Xia Jiking, filled with worry and anger, paced restlessly. She was throwing a furious tantrum at the person on the other end. This isn't going to end easily. Whoever dared to touch my person, I will absolutely never forgive them. So what if it's Xia Sinian? He's just my father's illegitimate son. He wasn't even born from my mother. I've never considered him my brother. I'll make sure he rots in prison. Even if my father intervenes, it's useless. I won't let him off the hook. No one knows that when Xia Jiking found out I was kidnapped, how terrified she felt deep down, how panicked she was. When facing the line between life and death, she finally realized so clearly her own feelings for me when she rushed to the warehouse and saw me unconscious, with the killers holding knives in their hands. She truly felt an urge to destroy the entire world. At that moment, Xia Jiking finally faced her own inner heart. It turns out that in his heart, from beginning to end, there was only me. Am I really this? Weak, still being deeply in love with the man who once betrayed me. I don't dare to think what would happen if anything happened to him. I especially don't dare to think if something really happened to me. What would he have to do? Xia Jiking felt that if that really happened, she would make all of them die without a whole corpse, including herself. Xia Jiking, after venting her intense anger over the phone, turned around and saw me. My eyes, hidden behind those bandages, were staring intently at her. She immediately rushed to my side, wanting to grab my hand, but worried about my injuries. She didn't dare touch me for a moment. Are you okay? Do you feel unwell somewhere? I looked straight at Xia Jiking, my gaze filled with tenderness. Looking at her haggard and exhausted face, I couldn't help but feel a pang of heartache. Ziking, I didn't expect to be able to see you again. I thought I'd only see you in heaven after I died. Heaven is quite nice. Xia Jiking was stunned for a moment. She burst into laughter through her tears. You idiot. Her smile was like a warm spring breeze, making one's heart feel truly at ease. I smiled along. Being able to survive was already the best thing ever. So much has truly happened during this time. Your mother is fine too. Right now, I've brought her to my house. There's a family doctor taking care of her. She doesn't know about you being kidnapped. I've been keeping it from her. You can rest easy about that. Thank you, Ziqing. What should I do about this? I owe Jiking 2 lives. One is my own, and one is my mother's. This debt of gratitude, when will I ever pay it back, Xia? Jiking seemed to see through my thoughts. She gently shook her head. Don't think too much. Just focus on resting well. Also, I will get revenge for you. The one who harmed you, I will absolutely never forgive. Hearing this, I frowned. Who is the culprit? Xia Xinian, my father's illegitimate son. My brows furrowed even tighter. I couldn't believe the culprit was Xia Xinian. Xia Xinian and I have no grievances or hatred. There's basically no reason for him to want me dead. No way. He has no motive. He does. He wanted to use you to hurt me, to seize the inheritance of the Xia family. Seeing that I still didn't believe it, Xia, Jiking let out a sigh. She pushed a tablet in front of me and played a recording. It was the recording of the call with the kidnappers. The voice, which was originally processed by a voice changer, had now been restored to its original state by technical staff. The voice rang out very sharply. A young voice that was completely unfamiliar to me. It turns out that wasn't Li Shuyuan's voice. After finishing the recording, Xia Jiking opened another video. In the video, a man wearing a mask, a cap and dressed in black, carrying 2 suitcases, was sneaking toward the warehouse. The person in that video, his build was clearly much shorter than Li Shuyuan's. The eyes visible above the mask were also far different from Li Shuyuan's eyes. The real culprit turned out not to be Li Shuyuan. Finally, there were even bank statements. The money transfers were clearly from the accounts of a subsidiary of the Xia Group. Those were to massive sums amounting to billions used to hire a hitman. But even though I saw this so-called evidence with my own eyes, I still felt vaguely that something was off. My intuition told me that this matter was definitely closely related to Li Shuyuan. Alright, don't overthink it. You just woke up, don't worry about these things. Just let me handle it. Even knowing Xia Xinian is the culprit, dealing with him won't be easy because the Xia family elders will step in to protect him. They can stand by and watch their descendants fight for power and profit, warring until one is gone. But they won't allow this to get so loud that someone ends up in prison. Because this doesn't just affect one individual, but the face of the entire clan. They would never allow it for a descendant carrying the crime of hiring a hitman to exist. Therefore, they will definitely step in to stop Xia Jiking. Xia Jiking ordered someone to bring up a bowl of soup. Drink this. Even though Xia Jiking still hasn't lowered her pride, her tone has softened significantly. Xia Jiking reached out her hand to smooth my tightly furrowed brows, then intended to place the freshly stewed soup into my hands. But she quickly realized my hands were injured. She let out a light, awkward cough. Fine then. Consider yourself lucky. Let me feed you. This young miss, even if she was feeling smug inside, would never let it show. And she would definitely never tell me that this was the soup she woke up early in the morning to stew. I slowly sipped the soup cooked by Xia Jiking, my mind still drifting. But gradually, I tasted a very familiar flavor. Drinking a few more sips, it was still that same familiar taste. It turns out this was soup stewed by Xia Jiking's own hands. The chaotic thoughts suddenly became clearer than ever. I stared blankly at Xia Jiking. Why are you looking at me? The soup you stewed is delicious. Xia Jiking blushed, turned her face away in embarrassment, and muttered under her breath. Who would bother stewing soup for you when Ye Anyi arrived? What she saw was this unusually peaceful scene. Ye Anyi rolled her eyes in disdain and said helplessly, Ziking, I have a new lead. Come out here, let's talk for a bit. All right. Xia Jiking pulled back her smile, her face becoming serious. When the two walked to a deserted corner, Ye Anyi handed a folder to Xia Jiking. Inside, it clearly showed everything Xia Xinian had done at the company over the years. The behind-the-scenes manipulations, evidence of tax evasion and leaking, the company's business secrets. Just hand these over, and the Xia family won't protect him anymore. The Xia family has been in business for generations. What they value most is profit, their ultimate limit is not allowing any harm to the clan's interest. Between two evils, they will choose the lesser evil. Once the existence of Xia Xinian puts the company in greater danger, then he no longer has a reason to exist. Who were the company's secrets sold to? A rival company? Receiving this answer, Xia Jiking was still not satisfied. She always felt everything reeked of strangeness. She hesitated for a long while, finally speaking up. Between Xia Xinian and Li Shuyuan, is there any contact? The phrase couldn't be traced was full of deep meaning. Xia Jiking frowned. No is no. But what do you mean couldn't be traced, oi? Because in real life, they basically have no contact. Anywhere Xia Xinian is present, Li Shuyuan is absent. Anywhere Li Shuyuan is, Xia Xinian will not appear. It's precisely because they avoid each other so obviously that it's suspicious. No matter how much of an idolized view she had of Li Shuyuan. At this point, Xia Jiking couldn't help but develop suspicions about him. In this world, no one is perfect. If a person presents themselves too perfectly before you, then they definitely have an issue. Well done, truly well done. In the hospital room, I was lying on the bed. At that moment, the door was pushed open. I thought Xia Jiking had returned. The words in my heart had just come out when I saw Li Yu Yuan walking in with a cold murderous aura. He looked even more sinister than any time I had seen before. You really have a long life, don't you? It's you. It really is you. I struggled to get up, ignoring the pain in my body to sit up abruptly, angrily glaring at the person who just entered. Evidence? Do you have any evidence? Even with his dark secrets exposed, Yu Yuan didn't show any panic. He basically didn't care about me at all. A lowly poor person was just as cheap as a blade of grass to him. If he's unhappy, he kills. There's no need to consider so much. Those who stand in his way all deserve to die. Xiaxinian is also a fool, truly a piece of mud that can't stick to the wall. He spent so much effort bringing Xiaxinian back to the Xia family, just so he and Xia Jiqing would clash head-on, making a favored child of heaven, like Xia Jiqing, almost suffer a complete and total defeat. Li Shu Yuan personally set up a chessboard to drag Xia Jiqing down to hell, only to reappear in the role of a savior, finally winning Xia Jiqing's trust and making her willing to marry him. From childhood, there's never been anything he wanted that he didn't seize. Even if he had to ruin Xia Jiqing, he had to have her. But now, because of my appearance, his plan has almost vanished like smoke. How could he not be filled with hate? In the end, why do you insist on doing this? Because your very existence is a mistake. Wouldn't it have been better if you stayed abroad forever? Why did you have to come back? Why come back to ruin my plan? What plan? What have you done to Ziqing? I'm increasingly seeing that Li Shu Yuan is a total psycho, with a mentality far different from normal people. You'll find out after you're dead. After saying that Li Shu Yuan left, he obviously wasn't dumb enough to do it himself at the hospital. The wedding has been postponed. Why? After Li Shu Yuan returned home, he suddenly received a call from Xia Jiqing. You probably already know about Xia Xinian's situation. Something happened to him right at this critical moment. The wedding can't be held. This was obviously just an excuse, but there was no other way. Before everything was clearly investigated, Xia Jiqing couldn't just close her eyes and jump into a marriage with Li Shu Yuan so recklessly. Li Shu Yuan naturally understood the reason as well. This act of hiring a hitman to kill someone was exactly what he ordered Xia Xinian to do. Afterward, he had cleaned up the traces very thoroughly. The police wouldn't be able to trace it back to him, but it still caused Xia Jiqing to become wary. This won't do. He had to find a way to dispel Xia Jiqing's suspicions. Alright, I understand. Jiqing, no matter how long I have to wait, I'm willing. I love you. At this moment, under normal circumstances, Xia Jiqing should have replied with, I love you too. But Xia Jiqing truly couldn't bring herself to say those words. After all, she didn't love Li Shu Yuan one bit. A long time ago, she had told Li Shu Yuan clearly that she didn't love him. If they were to marry, they could only treat each other with mutual respect like strangers. At that time, Li Shu Yuan said he didn't care, saying that he didn't mind at all as long as he could marry her. Back then, she felt guilty, but now looking back, everything feels off. How can someone completely not care that the person they love doesn't have them in their heart? Furthermore, she actually never felt Li Shu Yuan's love for her. There was only possessiveness, absolutely no love. Hanging up the phone, Xia Jiqing went to my hospital room. I was already able to get out of bed and walk, but my face was still pale and bloodless. I've sent Xia Xinian and the kidnappers. Who took you to prison? Xia Jiqing thought. I'd be a bit happier hearing this news, but to her surprise, I remained in a daze. Also, the wedding between me and Li Shu Yuan has been postponed. My eyes finally lit up. Why didn't I know about this? I don't know what I really want anymore. Lin Jingwen, I never thought the day would come when I'd fear marriage this much. Xia Jiqing gave a bitter laugh. Her mind was in a mess. She didn't know how to face Li Shu Yuan, and even less how to face me. Now can you tell me the truth about what happened 5 years ago? Of course I couldn't. I couldn't just because my mom got a kidney transplant, unilaterally tear up the deal with the Xia family. If I really did that, the Xia family wouldn't let me or my mother off. I've already offended Li Shu Yuan. If I offend the Xia family on top of that, I'm afraid my mother and I wouldn't even know how we died. Lin Jingwen, you have your own hidden pain, don't you? Regarding what happened 5 years ago, she had already let it go. She felt that she no longer blamed me. As long as I honestly confessed the truth to her, no matter what that truth might be, she would choose to face it together with me. The truth is that I was just too greedy for vanity. Xia Jiqing suddenly flew into a rage. Are you intentionally trying to piss me off? I turned my face to the side. Sorry for disappointing you, but that is the truth. After Xia Jiqing angrily left, an uninvited guest appeared in the hospital room. It was Mrs. Qinran, Xia Jiqing's mother. She was an incredibly elegant lady. However, coming from such a person, the words she spoke were as cold as 1,000-year-old ice. Long time no see, Lin Jingwen. I tried to hide the complexity in my eyes as I faced her. The moment I saw Qinran, I couldn't help but recall the scene from 5 years ago. The scene where I was pinned down by bodyguards and forced to kneel before her. Back then, Qinran looked at me as if looking at the most lowly and tiny insect in the world. Even after fleeing abroad, I was always under the strict surveillance of people sent by Chinran. You boy, you really don't know how to listen. Her words sent a chilling shiver down my spine. I hate nothing more than juniors who don't know their place. You know very well. If I can spend billions to keep your mother alive, I can also make her die instantly. I have never broken my promise to you. Is that so? Chinran gave a half smile. But Ziqing, she no longer intends to marry Li Shuyuan. Do you dare to claim that your hand isn't involved in this? I couldn't bring myself to say that this had nothing to do with me. Actually, I could feel the change in Xia Zhiking's attitude toward me lately. Perhaps Ziqing still loves me. Perhaps we still have deep feelings for each other. I could also guess that the wedding delay was directly related to this kidnapping. Sorry. Your apology isn't worth a cent. My daughter is elite. She will become the one, holding the real power of the Xia group. Her husband must be a worthy peer, not some lowly, mediocre nobody like you. You'll only hinder her and hold her back. I bowed my head in numbness, listening to the insults belittling myself, words that were humiliating to the core. If you're smart, you should leave soon. Don't go looking for more disgrace. But right at this moment, I suddenly looked up. If I leave, will I really be safe? Li Shuyuan wants to kill me. Even if I flee, abroad he won't let me go. Suddenly I understood everything. Just because of my ordinary background, I kept yielding to the so-called elite power players, but my patience was useless. On the contrary, it only gave those snake-hearted villains more ground to push. Qinran frowned. Her gaze was complex. Perhaps she saw that Li Shuyuan really wasn't as simple as he looked. How could someone who manages the Li group be a man without schemes? It's just that she didn't expect Li Shuyuan would over such a minor matter develop murderous intent and leave such a massive opening. Don't speak nonsense like that. I'm not speaking nonsense. Li Shuyuan definitely cannot escape his connection to this matter. Maybe Xia Xinian was even acting on his orders. Qinran stared intently at me. My words were so decisive that they couldn't help but stir suspicion in her. If Li Shuyuan was truly involved with that bastard child, then she naturally wouldn't marry her daughter off to him. I will investigate the truth. I hope you're not lying, otherwise you'll regret the words you spoke today. A week later, I was finally discharged from the hospital. This time, I couldn't take any more risks. I sent my mom abroad. First, while I stayed behind to deal with Li Shuyuan, I thought if Xia Jiqing and I still love each other, then let's give each other a chance, even if it leads to eternal damnation. In another development, Xia Jiqing had investigated more about Li Shuyuan, including the times he entered and left my hospital room. But out of respect for patient privacy, there were no surveillance cameras inside the room. Therefore, no one knew what Li Shuyuan had said to me. Even the fact that Li Shuyuan instigated the general's wife to threaten me was uncovered. Even at the Liren bar, the incident where Li Shuyuan threatened me and the scene where he met me were recorded. Originally, Li Shuyuan had told the bar owner to delete the surveillance footage, but the owner was naturally suspicious. To guard against any mishaps, he had secretly kept that tape. Piece by piece, everything clearly showed that Li Shuyuan had been targeting me all along. Seeing all of this, Xia Jiking's hands and feet went cold. She felt that having such a two-faced backstabber by her side was terrifying. But the scariest part was that she had always trusted him before. Xia Jiking, it turns out you were like a fool, being played like a fiddle. Great, just great. She violently swept the pile of documents off the desk, suddenly remembering the words Ye Anyi once said. Have you never wondered if that bastard's appearance was a bit too coincidental? Now, when stringing everything together, she finally fully understood the meaning of those words. She drove to the prison to meet her so-called younger brother. Xia Xinian was wearing a tracksuit. He didn't seem surprised at all to see her. It was as if he had anticipated Xia Jiking would come. Long time no see, big sister. He wore a bloody smile on his lips and a pair of glasses, looking like a typical student that no one would suspect. Someone who looked so innocent recently dared to plan an attempted murder. In the end, why did you want to kill Lin Jingwen? Obviously because I wanted you to suffer. You hate me that much. Xia Xinian smiled and nodded. That's right. Big sister, because you're the noble eldest miss of the Xia family. And I'm just a bastard. We were standing on opposite sides from the moment we were born. So I was destined to hate you. Xia Jiking wasn't provoked by him at all. She took out an old photo. On it was a pair of twins about 15 or 16 years old. The boy was Xia Xinian, and that girl was Xia Xinian's twin sister. The moment he saw the photo, Xia Xinian clearly panicked. What do you mean by this? 6 years ago, your sister had a sudden heart attack abroad. A kind benefactor paid the hospital fees for her. That person was Li Shuyuan. Xia Jiking didn't care about the screams of Xia Xinian. She just continued the story on her own. To repay Li Shuyuan's kindness, you've been working for him all these years, including the kidnapping of Lin Jingwen. Nonsense, kidnapping Lin Jingwen was my own idea. It has nothing to do with Mr. Li at all. Your sister still hasn't found a matching heart. I can help you. Justinian froze, but still didn't open his mouth. You think I'll believe? You have no other choice. A guilty murderer. Like you can forget about ever leaving prison. Only I can help you take care of her. You also know Li Xiuyuan has abandoned you. In his eyes, you're just a chess piece. Now you can only choose to trust me. After Xia Jiqing left the prison, she went straight to the Li group. When she appeared at Li Xiuyuan's office, Li Xiuyuan still had no idea what had happened. But seeing Xia Jiqing's incredibly serious expression, his heart suddenly felt uneasy. He secretly guessed something, but he still tried to play the role of a good fiancé. Ziking, what's the matter? Who provoked you and made you so unhappy? Xia Jiqing gave a cold snort and didn't reply. She walked straight over and sat in the opposite chair. Li Xiuyuan became even more uneasy, but he still forced himself to endure. Such a huge rage. Who made you this mad? Tell me and I'll vent. That anger for you. Xia Jiqing slammed her bag onto the desk. She balanced her teeth. It's nothing. Just had a huge argument with Lin Jingwen. Xia Jiqing chose not to reveal the truth. She suddenly felt that she was truly ridiculous. Such a hypocritical, deep-scheming villain, yet she had regarded him as the hero who saved her life. It turns out every single thing was nothing more than a play orchestrated by Li Xiuyuan. Li Xiuyuan sensed something was off. Did Lin Jingwen say something to you? He said you don't want me to marry you because you don't truly love me. Said it's just blind possessiveness. Xia Jiqing truly couldn't understand. Li Xiuyuan went through all this effort. What was it all for in the end? Could it be that because of love he wanted to possess her? Stop joking. She was no longer the naive girl who dreamed of rosy romances. There was no way she'd believe he did all those things simply out of love. Of course I love you. Lin Jingwen is just trying to drive a wedge between us. Spoke words of affection, but his eyes didn't hold a single trace of genuine feeling. Can I trust you? My fiancée Xia Jiqing had never felt so lost and helpless. How could a man who looks so refined and elegant be such a beast in human skin? Of course you can. I will always be worthy of your trust. The online media outlets suddenly announced breaking news: CEO Li of the Li Group and the heiress of the Xia Group will hold their grand wedding tomorrow. I accidentally saw that news and my phone fell with a thud to the ground. Did I see that wrong? Didn't they say the wedding was cancelled? In that moment, it felt like someone had stabbed me in the heart again, making it impossible to breathe. I had finally summoned the courage to make a decision, to stay and face Li Xiuyuan, to give myself and Xia Jiqing a chance. Why is she about to marry someone else already? And it's to that two-faced hypocrite of all people. I couldn't help but mock myself to hide the pain. Maybe I'm just being delusional. Maybe Jiqing really does love Li Xiuyuan. However, a sharp pain surged through my entire body. I collapsed on the bed, my body curling up in agony. I started calling Xia Jiqing like a madman. I didn't even know what I was doing anymore, just calling her over and over. But the other end was always busy. The next day was a massive event at the cathedral. Li Xiuyuan, looking sharp in a tuxedo, stood there welcoming the guests. Elite businessmen, politicians, reporters, and media outlets arrived one after another. When the music started playing, Xia Jiqing, wearing a white veil, was led by Father Xia toward that solemn stage to be handed over to Li Xiuyuan. Thunderous applause erupted all around. All around. Everyone was praising the talented and beautiful couple. Truly a match made in heaven. Only the parents of both sides were feeling uneasy, especially Qinran. He had indeed uncovered a few things, but the alliance between the Xia and Li families couldn't be stopped just because some minor secrets were exposed. Once they were on stage, the priest began the wedding ceremony for the two. The procedures were all very simple. The priest asked the groom if he loved the bride. Li Xiuyuan smiled and replied, "Of course I love my wife." When it was time to ask the bride, Xia Jiqing remained silent. The atmosphere immediately turned awkward. Whispers and murmurs began to spread through the crowd. Li Xiuyuan struggled to maintain his polite facade. He gave a stiff smile. "Ziking, are you just too nervous?" "I'm waiting." "Waiting for what?" As soon as Xia Jiqing spoke, right there on the stage, she calmly answered her phone in front of everyone, showing absolutely no respect for Li Xiuyuan. The venue began to break into chaos, waiting for news from the police. Just as she finished, the cathedral doors were suddenly pushed open. A group of uniformed police officers rushed in. "Mr. Li Xiuyuan, you have been accused of hiring a hitman. Please cooperate with our investigation." The scene was hit with a massive shockwave. The media reporters, unexpectedly catching a major scoop, swarmed the stage all at once. Flashbulbs were popping non-stop. Hearing the police's words, how could Li Xiuyuan not understand? He had been set up by Xia Jiqing. With the current situation, even if he walked out of the police station unscathed, the world would still look at him with pure prejudice. Moreover, he wasn't innocent to begin with. As the police handcuffed Li Xiuyuan, he suddenly broke into a smile. "Ziking, you're more interesting than I thought. The current you compared to that stupid version I played like a fiddle before is much more entertaining." Seeing Li Xiuyuan being led away, Jiking still didn't let her guard down. She always felt Li Xiuyuan was very deep. He acted far too calm, so calm it was as if the person being arrested wasn't even him. Just then, while everyone's eyes followed the police car, I suddenly pushed through the crowd. I grabbed Xia Jiking's cold hand. Don't be nervous. No matter what happens in the future, I will face it together with you. With that, I led Xia Jiking, still in her wedding dress, away from the wedding scene. We were like a pair of runaway lovers sprinting down the main road. We didn't stop until we reached the seashore. I pulled Xia Jiking into my arms. Luckily, it wasn't real. Luckily, you didn't actually want to marry him. You believed me right. When I first heard the news, I was almost fooled. But then I understood everything. How did you realize it? Maybe it was intuition. I guess. I believe the girl I love isn't a fool. With so much clear evidence right in front of her, she would definitely understand. The sea breeze blew hard, messing up the train of Xia Jiking's wedding dress. She decisively tore off the cumbersome layers of the dress, took off her shoes, and sat down on the sand. Can we consider ourselves reconciled? Now, I never blamed you, Jingwen. I was just afraid you hated me. And besides, 5 years ago, I really did abandon you. Can you tell me the reason now? I was still thinking about how to explain when someone suddenly appeared behind us. Let me explain for him. It was her mother, Qinran. Why are you here? Even though she was no longer forcing her child to be with Li Xiuyuan anymore, she still utterly despised my family background. She used my mother's illness to threaten him. Xia Jiking looked at her mother in shock. What did you say? Yes, I did it. That's right. But what's so noble about him? He wasn't exactly honorable or upright either. After he returned to the country, he clearly had so many chances to confess to you, but every time he chose to abandon you to care for his mother? My poor daughter, you were always the one being abandoned. Those words made my face turn from pale to bright red, with shame. I couldn't refute it because what Qin Ran said was the truth. What do you mean? I helped find the kidney for his mother. He promised me that as long as I found a kidney for his mother, he would leave you forever. Look at yourself. Abandoned 5 years ago, and still abandoned 5 years later. To Lin Jingwen, you will always be the one tossed aside. Xinran's words were too cruel, making Xia Jiking unable to stand steady. Logically, she could understand that because of my mother's illness, I was forced to make that choice. But emotionally, she couldn't accept the fact that she was always the one being abandoned. It made her feel like she wasn't important enough to me. Ziking? I stepped forward to support Xia Jiking, but she dodged me. Lin Jingwen, just leave me alone for a bit. After saying that, Xia Jiking ran away. I planned to chase after her, but Qin Ran blocked me by the shore. It was just me and Qin Ran. Don't think that just because Li Xiuyuan is in trouble, you'll have a chance. Your background is clear for everyone to see. You will never be worthy of my daughter. I felt a deep sense of helplessness and let out a heavy sigh. Ma'am, this time, as long as Ziqing doesn't give up, as long as she still loves me, I will never leave. Oh, are you naive enough to think that just based on your feelings, you can change the prejudice regarding social status? Can you bridge the massive gap between our two families? Qin Ran pressured me step by step, but this time I wouldn't back down. I have faith in myself, and I have faith in our relationship. Could our love really overcome 10,000 obstacles? Truly ridiculous. If she stays with you, Ziqing would be forced to give up everything from the Xia family. Give up her position as the head of the Xia group. Do you think Ziqing would do that? I noticed you didn't dare answer this question. The choice of what to do should be decided by Ziqing herself. The atmosphere fell into silence. Suddenly, footsteps sounded from behind. I turned my head to look. It was Xia Jiking. She had taken off the wedding dress and changed into different clothes. Mom, I can give all of those things up. Qinran's eyes widened as she looked at her. She frowned in disbelief. She never expected her daughter, who was always so competitive, could say such love-struck words. The poise of a lady she always tried to maintain almost completely collapsed in this moment. Have you gone mad? Do you know what you're saying? I've groomed you for so long and poured so much effort into you, not for you to go suffer with some penniless loser. Doing this is no different from self-destruction. Qin Ran had never spoken such harsh words to her before. Even 5 years ago after I left and she lost all will to fight Qin, Ran wasn't even this strict with her. My face also turned a bit sour. But it wasn't my place to criticize Xia Jiqing's mother. Mom, Xia Jiqing's voice suddenly rose. Do you really love me? You've never cared about what I actually want. Never even noticed if I was happy or not. You only see me as a tool to grab power and profit. As soon as she finished speaking, Qinran's slap landed squarely on Xia Jiqing's face. Qinran had never felt so out of control. She didn't expect to be questioned by her own flesh and blood about whether she loved her. This was her only child. She had poured her entire life's effort into her. Yet now she was willing to cruelly slander her mother, all for the sake of a man. Qinran was so angry that her whole body trembled, and tears began to fall. I was startled and horrified. hurriedly pulling Xia Jiking into my arms. I could feel her body trembling violently in my embrace. I'm sorry, Mom. Qinran left in a fit of rage. After that day, the two of them acted as if nothing had ever happened. No one wanted to mention that conflict on the beach ever again. We had reconciled. The Xia group temporarily showed no further reaction. Who knows what Qinran said after she returned. The capabilities of a CEO like Xia Jiking remained unchanged. She still handled everything perfectly. Everything was progressing in a positive direction except for the news that Li Xiuyuan had been safely released on bail. Exactly as Xia Jiking had anticipated, Li Xiuyuan indeed had one last trump card. He had long since sent men to control Xia Xinian's sister, forcing Xia Xinian to change his testimony immediately. That day, Jiking and I were dining at a restaurant when we happened to run into Li Xiuyuan. What a coincidence. He set his gaze like that of a venomous snake, bit by bit acting as if he wanted to swallow his prey whole. I don't think we're close enough to stop and exchange greetings. Xia Jiking said, let's go, I want to leave. Immediately. Right now she truly felt disgusted by him to the extreme. Li Xiuyuan couldn't understand it at all. Both sides had already turned against each other like this. Yet she could still stand before him with such an indifferent attitude, acting as if nothing had happened. Of course I didn't want to bicker with Li Xiuyuan either. In my heart I knew very well that Li Xiuyuan was a total psycho, a madman to the bone. Ziking, since I was a kid, the things I've wanted, I have never failed to obtain. If I can't have it, I'd rather destroy it with my own hands. Just like when he was young. Li Xiuyuan once liked a cat, but because he was allergic to cat fur, he was forced to give up the idea of keeping it. However, the very next day, the servants found the cat's corpse right next to the trash can. Are you threatening me? Feel free to find out. I don't want to hurt you. Ziking, as long as you come back to my side now. Before Li Xiuyuan could even finish, I rushed forward and landed a punch square on his face. Li Xiuyuan reacted very quickly, immediately striking back. The two men began brawling right then and there. The scene became completely chaotic. Xia Jiking had never seen me so furious and out of control like this. Luckily, there weren't many people in the restaurant right now. The staff saw the scene and quickly backed away, secretly hiding to call the police. Stop it, Li Xiuyuan, don't you dare hurt Lin Jingwen. During the brawl, Li Xiuyuan's expression suddenly turned sour for a moment. In the depths of his eyes, a trace of hurt actually appeared. Because of that split second of distraction, Li Xiuyuan was knocked down to the ground. A streak of blood trickled from the corner of his mouth, but I didn't want to let it go. I hated Li Xiuyuan to the bone. Last time I almost died at his hands. Between him and me, there was already a deep-seated blood feud. When I was about to rush him again, Xia Jiking, fearing something bad would happen, also got angry. She tightly hugged my waist from behind. Lin Jingwen, stop it right now. If you keep hitting him, someone's going to die. There are so many people watching here, and the police will be here any second. I didn't dare move any further, fearing I would hurt Xia Jiking. Li Xiuyuan struggled to get back on his feet. He lowered his head and wiped the blood from his mouth. He suddenly burst into laughter, a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Are you protecting him? What are you going to give him for leaving without a word? 5 years ago, so easily, if you, Xia Jiking, could forgive him. Then why can't you forgive me? These are clearly two completely different things. How can you even compare them? Xia Jiking felt he was truly beyond comprehension. She turned away, not wanting to deal with Li Xiuyuan for even one more second. He continued speaking to Xia Jiking, you are so cruel to me. Li Xiuyuan, I'm begging you, stop clinging to me. Let's just keep a bit of our final dignity. It was at this moment that I spoke up. We will be together forever. Your obsession will only make Ziking despise you even more. After saying that, I started to step forward. Clearly, I was being driven by a fit of rage. My vision blurred and I lost my mind a bit. Xia Jiking stepped in between us once again. She saw that people nearby had started taking photos. Let's go, someone's taking pictures over there. Okay. Listening to her, the two of us held hands to leave. Li Xiuyuan's expression instantly turned cold. Don't touch her. She's mine, not someone a poor loser like you can even dream of having. Xia Jiking was about to flare up, but I beat her to it and spoke first. She is a free person, even if she's with me. She only belongs to herself. She has the freedom to choose the life she wants. Another blow struck. Li Xiuyuan was triggered. In a fit of violent rage, Li Xiuyuan charged at me, continuing the brawl. It wasn't until the police arrived that we were both hauled off to the station. The three of us explained the whole story at the office. Xia Jiking bailed me out, while Li Xiuyuan was bailed out by his lawyer. The moment we split up at the station gates, Li Xiuyuan looked at us with dark, gloomy eyes. Xia Jiking, just you wait and see. These past few days, I've been feeling uneasy. I have a premonition that Li Xiuyuan won't easily let us go like this. I vaguely feel that Li Xiuyuan is plotting something. Being stalked by a psycho? I'm afraid we won't get away without losing a layer of skin. Sure enough, one evening when I returned to my rental, I found traces of a break-in by a stranger. The bedroom door was wide open, even though I clearly remember locking it before leaving. 2840. I was about to pretend I hadn't noticed anything. I was just about to pretend I hadn't noticed anything, faking a phone call to leave immediately, when someone hooded me and knocked me out. Before completely losing consciousness, I was still cursing Lee Xiu-yuan for being a total madman. By the time I woke up, I found myself tied up tightly in a car trunk. My mouth was taped shut. I kicked with all my might, trying to make noise to call for help and attract the attention of passersby. But I didn't know that. Right now I'm in the middle of a deep forest, desolate and completely deserted. Not knowing how much time had passed, the car stopped. The trunk was opened. Because I hadn't seen light for a long time, I couldn't open my eyes for a moment. By the time I adapted, I saw Li Shuyuan standing there, looking down at me with contemptuous eyes. Lin Jingwen, today is the anniversary of your death. With that, Li Shuyuan ripped the duct tape off my mouth. He looked at me with a smirk. Do you think you'll still be lucky this time and escape the punishment of the law? The law is meant to restrain low-life people like you. Li Shuyuan laughed maniacally. Right now, he was like a wild beast that had lost all reason, with nothing left in his head but slaughter and violence. Don't worry, I brought Ziqing. Here too, I'll make you two a pair of immortal souls. A couple of star-crossed lovers. What did you do to her? Naturally, I knocked her out. Choo, ha ha ha! I was thrown hard onto the ground. By the time I could react, I noticed Ziqing lying unconscious not far away. Ziqing! My hands and feet were tied tight, making movement impossible. I could only use my elbows to prop myself up and crawl over. Li Shuyuan stood aside, staring intently, his face sinister and wicked. When I reached Ziqing's side, I carefully observed her condition. Seeing that she didn't have any major problems, I breathed a sigh of relief and began trying to wake her up. Ziqing, wake up. Not long after, Ziqing was shaken awake. Her head was still spinning. She had been drugged. She remembered just finishing work at the company, being in the parking garage, getting ready to drive home, when she suddenly felt extremely sleepy. At that moment, she knew something was wrong and wanted to call the police, but she couldn't hold on anymore. Just as she grabbed her phone, she passed out and fell into a coma. Lin Jingwen, seeing me tied up like a log. Then looking back, Li Shuyuan was still staring intently at us. How could Ziqing not understand by now? We had been kidnapped by Li Shuyuan. Are you planning to die with us, Li Shuyuan? You kidnap me and think you can get away with it safely. Li Shuyuan shrugged with a vile expression, completely unconcerned. I never thought about getting away safely. Having said that, he laughed hysterically. But there was no mirth in his eyes, only frantic desire for destruction. Looking at his crazed state, it sent both me and Ziqing into despair. Right now, Li Shuyuan was no different from a desperate man. He no longer cared about anything at all. The violent nature he had hidden for all these years, along with the perverted desire for destruction in his heart, all erupted at this very moment. Ziqing's body was still limp, with no strength at all. I was also tied up tight. If Li Shuyuan wanted to make a move on us right now, we would have almost zero chance of fighting back. You guys tell me, how should I deal with the two of you? Li Shuyuan gave a meaningful smile and approached. In his hand, he was playing with a small knife. Stop it. If you stop right now, I can act as if nothing ever happened. Ziqing's words had no effect at all. On the contrary, they made Li Shuyuan laugh even more arrogantly. I blocked the way in front of Ziqing. Li Shuyuan, whatever you want to do, just aim it at me alone. Don't hurt Ziqing. But Li Shuyuan didn't give a damn about what I said. His gaze swept past me and looked straight at Ziqing. Do you regret it? Regret falling for Lin Jingwen? Ziqing knew very well that she couldn't provoke Li Shuyuan right now, so she didn't say anything harsh, but tried to calm his emotions. Calm down, Li Shuyuan. What on earth? Do you want? You can negotiate with me. Don't you know that? Naturally, I want you, but you never loved me at all. You only see me as a toy for your amusement, wanting to tame me. Conquering the eldest miss of the Xia group must make you feel pretty smug, doesn't it? Ziqing was deliberately stalling for time. She knew that once her assistant couldn't contact her, they would definitely call the police. Since a few days ago, she had instructed her assistant that if they ever couldn't reach her, then something terrible must have happened. Now she just needed to stall until the police could find them. It truly gives a great sense of achievement. But you really disappointed me. I thought someone as proud as you would never forgive Lin Jingwen. Again, to think you'd go back to your ex. While speaking, he delivered a powerful kick to my chest. This kick was incredibly heavy. I felt as if my ribs had completely snapped. The pain was so intense that I broke out in a cold sweat, my face turning pale. Untie me if you're so tough. Keeping me tied like this. Are you afraid you can't beat me? But the provocation had no effect on Li Shuyuan. Instead, it only made his physical assault more brutal. Ziqing didn't dare speak up to stop him, fearing it would make Li Shuyuan even more enraged. Shuyuan, listen to me. It's still early. You can still stop this. As long as you stop, we can act as if none of this ever happened. I had been beaten to the point of collapsing on the floor, blood flowing everywhere. Stop. It's late. Everything is far too late. Li Shuyuan grabbed Xia Jiking's chin firmly, his eyes revealing a dark, gloomy look. I liked you so much. I truly can't bear to kill you, but there's no other way. You're too stubborn. So I have no choice but to destroy you. Just as he finished, Li Shuyuan swung the knife towards Xia Jiking's stomach. No. Meanwhile, Qin, Ran and Yaani, with the support of the police, were in a police car racing toward the deep mountains. This place used to be a wildlife sanctuary, but it's currently abandoned. That bastard Li Shuyuan? That animal, if anything happens to Ziking, I'll never forgive him. Qin, Ran felt her heart was in her throat, her palms drenched in cold sweat. She didn't dare imagine if anything happened to Xia Jiking, what she would do then. All along the way, Qin Ran kept telling herself that if Ziking could survive this ordeal, then no matter what she wanted to do in the future, she would never force her again. She only wished for her happiness. Ye Anyi was much calmer. She continuously analyzed every situation with the police, analyzing lithium, Shuyuan, a pervert with an antisocial personality like his, and what actions he might take. Li Shuyuan smuggled a handgun from abroad recently. Therefore, I have reason to believe he is currently carrying that gun. Hearing that, the police officer's expressions became even more serious and tense. An armed culprit dealing with the culprit with a gun is a completely different story. With a gun in his hand, just one slip-up means even the rescue police would be in danger. By the time the police pinpointed the location, it had already been 4 hours since the two of them went missing. Then a gunshot rang out, causing the birds in the forest to fly away in terror. That gunshot also made everyone's heart tighten. He fired that animal. Qinran's footsteps faltered. She didn't dare think about who that shot hit. Yaani supported Qinran, her face also full of anxiety. Logically speaking, facing a culprit with a gun, having a sniper take the shot is the best choice. But this is a dense forest, obstacles are everywhere. Everyone ran for their lives toward the sound of the gunshot. Neither I nor Xia Jiking expected that. Li Shuyuan was even carrying a gun. At the exact moment Li Shuyuan fired his gun, I finally escaped the ropes and rushed to tackle him. As for Li Shuyuan's previous knife strike, it actually hadn't landed yet. The blade stopped at a position away from Xia Jiking's stomach by exactly 1 centimeter. At that moment, Xia Jiking truly thought she was about to die. But Li Shuyuan had stopped. He used an infatuated and delighted expression to savor her terror as death loomed close. The feeling of watching his prey be afraid, helpless, and desperately seeking a way to live made Li Shuyuan beyond obsessed. I frequently go to hunting grounds abroad to hunt wild animals. Those animals, before they die, also show the exact same look in their eyes as you. A look of resentment, pain, and miserable struggling. Li Shuyuan was so preoccupied savoring Xia Jiking's drama that he didn't notice me. I had secretly hidden a stone in my palm, bit by bit using the sharp edge of the stone to grind through the rope binding my wrists. So much so that when he raised his gun to shoot me, because he underestimated me too much, he didn't realize I had escaped my bonds and was tackled to the ground by my rush. Li Shuyuan and I scuffled violently, both of us frantically fighting for the gun. The drug was still in Xia Jiking's system. She could only pull herself up with great difficulty. Another gunshot rang out, but fortunately this shot didn't hit anyone, but lodged into a nearby tree trunk. Xia Jiking watched from the side terrified. She knew she couldn't just sit and wait for death. She looked around searching, then happened to grab a stone and stood up unsteadily. At this point, I started to be unable to match him, because having been brutally beaten by Li Shuyuan earlier, my head was still spinning and dizzy. How could I be his match right now? Li Shuyuan laughed arrogantly and crazily. He used his elbow to strike my stomach hard. I was in so much pain I nearly threw up stomach acid. Taking advantage of my opening, Li Shuyuan landed another punch that made my vision go dark, but I still desperately tried to snatch the gun from his hand, refusing to let go. If I let go, both my life and Xia Jiking's would truly be lost in this place. Go to hell, Li Shuyuan roared like a demon, his smile turning hideous. Ha ha ha, you're the one who's gonna die. While the two were locked in a struggle, neither noticed that Xia Jiking was approaching. Li Shuyuan was struck from behind by a stone, hitting the back of his neck hard. He immediately felt dazed. Is it you? He turned to look at the person who arrived, but he didn't look surprised. Instead, a faint expression of hurt mixed with helplessness appeared. Then he laughed again in a sarcastic, frantic way. Fine, great, if you all want to kill me, then I have no choice but to kill you all. The blow from the stone only made him more feral. I was sent sprawling by a kick, completely drained of any resistance. The gun was back in Li Shuyuan's hand once again. Farewell, you two. Li Shuyuan raised the gun aimed at me and pulled the trigger. No! A blood-curdling scream and a gunshot rang out simultaneously. This time there were no exceptions. That shot hit my body directly, let out a muffled groan, my whole body twitching violently, as I coughed up a mouthful of fresh blood. But that shot didn't take my life instantly. Li Yuan raised the gun again. This time Xia Jiqing finally rushed forward to snatch the gun. Stop it. But how could she win against him? Before she could even touch the gun, a kick sent her flying. Di Lin Jingwen. He smirked and slowly raised the gun. But this shot wasn't aimed at me. It was fired into Li Yuan's own body. Before falling, Li Yuan saw his chest had been pierced. Fresh blood gushed out from the wound. He saw Xia Jiqing running toward me while crying, while he himself fell down in solitude. Criminals neutralized. Copy that. I don't know how long I was unconscious. By the time I woke up, I still had an oxygen tube in my nose. He's awake. He's awake. A nurse saw me wake up and immediately ran outside in joy. The doctors received the news, and a group of people rushed in. It's truly a miracle. With such a severe gunshot wound, to wake up after only half a month in a coma. Half a month, I've been out for 2 weeks. Then what about Ziqing? Is she okay? What happened to that animal? Li Yuan. I still couldn't speak. Only gasping in anxiety, patient. Whatever it is, please stay calm. We need to examine you. No, I have to confirm that Xia Jiqing is okay first. But because I was wearing an oxygen mask, I couldn't utter a word. I could only shake my head desperately, my limbs flailing as I resisted the doctor's touch. Sir, please don't move. As the medical staff struggled to restrain me, a voice echoed from the hallway. He's awake. He's okay now, right, doctor? Hearing that voice, I finally stopped, struggling. It was Xia Jiqing. He's fine. If he's fine, then it's okay. The ward door was pushed open. Xia Jiqing rushed in, looking exhausted and worn out. The moment she saw me, her eyes turned red. The two of us just stared at each other across the crowd of medics. I was severely injured and had to stay in the hospital for over half a year before I could walk again. As for Li Yuan, he died right on the spot. The Li group was dragged into a PR nightmare because of him. Their stocks hitting rock bottom. Competitors took the chance to surround and attack, leaving them in a critical state. A year later, the two of them held a wedding that shook the whole city. This time, the Xia family no longer opposed their marriage. I heard from Xia Jiqing that it was thanks to Qin Ran pushing past all objections to convince the Xia family that everyone finally agreed to let this wedding take place. At the wedding, Qin Ran stood next to Xia Jiqing, crying uncontrollably. In this life, I no longer ask for anything else. I only hope my daughter can be happy. As long as she is joyful, I am satisfied. Having gone through a life and death ordeal, Qin Ran could finally truly feel that. Her daughter being able to live in peace was the most beautiful thing, more important than anything else. Amidst the blessings of everyone, the groom and bride exchanged wedding rings. Amidst the bustle of the crowd, they made a vow to grow old together. I, Lin Jingwen, will forever respect and love her, will never leave, and never give up on my wife. Regardless of sickness, illness, or old age, I, Xia Ziqing, vow before Lin Jingwen that I will be with him to face every challenge in the future. May our love be eternal, forever and ever.